Yeah. Oh my God. I'm at Ray Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. Just fighting in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
And boom, here we are. Oh, right, there's three of us. Here, let me take off this thing again. Sometimes it's weird when it's like three of us. I guess I gotta change that thing up. Anyways, hey guys. Welcome to the live. Sorry we're late.
Hey, I feel like I both.
I know. You guys, we were on John's channel on Crime Scene to Courtroom earlier. And so we did that live for a couple hours, and now we're doing our regular Friday night live. Yes. And so yeah.
it all felt much more dignified and classy over there in the UK. You know, so, now you're just kind of like, you're like, you know,
we're just back home.
Homegirls.
Yeah. Anyway,
you know, you both look beautiful.
Alexa's got her red lipstick on. Yeah. There's my Canadian girl. Charmaine. Charmaine, thanks for becoming a member. Charmaine's my Canadian girl. She lived about 20 minutes from where I did in Alberta when I lived in Alberta. So, hey, Charmaine. And she said she had started, I was talking to her last night a little bit. She said started a podcast with her daughter. She was saying, and I said that we were talking about, you know, thinking about doing that, like about the whole podcast thing as well. I haven't looked into it yet, but, you know. But I've been thinking about that. A lot of people do like these podcasts and stuff.
We literally could just release the audio from the live on a podcast.
True that, yeah. Hey Sarah, how are you? Cher's in the house. Shelly's in the house.
Yes.
It's like you guys are all having a conversation. Sharon Parker. Hey Sharon Parker. Let's see. It's kind of a shame. Yep. She's present. Yep, Miss Dog Lover again. Hey, Miss Dog Lover.
Not my fault.
I was here first, and I think Adam said something like, oops, accidentally spelled something before the live. So there's nothing worse when you're doing something and then all of a sudden you spill your drink everywhere, eh? Callie's in the house, like TGIF. Yeah, I honestly had to keep remembering that it was Friday today, actually. Kind of like when you're at home, you kind of forget the days. That was funny. Oh my God, my son just told me that they found the two. Yes. You know, I was just saying that to Adam, Sharon, before we came on the live. Like, I vaguely remember seeing something about this 2-year-old boy. I think his name is Talon. And about, I believe the mother's name is Passion. And I just happened to kind of go through YouTube for a minute there. And then I saw that there was this update of the case. And well, we'll come back to that in just a second, Sharon.
Right.
Yeah, found little boy in a park. Lacey. Hi, everyone. Hi, Lacey.
Lacey.
And yeah.
Hey, Miss Dog Lover, it's late over there.
What? What'd you say?
I said, yeah, hey, Miss Dog Lover, it's late over there. But, you know, we are grateful for our vampire viewers.
Yeah. Hey, Jess, how are you? Kathy's in the house. Alexa's having issues. I can see there again. Alexa, where are you? Streamlabs is in the house. Hey, Lisa, my wrench. Hello, hello, hello. And let's see, Virgo. Hey, Virgo.
Sunny, I found out something last night. Grandma Bunny is not Grandma Watches.
Oh, it's not?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, because I saw Grandma Watches last night in a chat, and I said, hey, I thought you changed your name. And she said, nope. And I said, oh, totally was talking to someone like they were you.
Oh.
She said, nope.
Well, you know, people change names. Yeah. Hey, hey, BJ. I think I said hi to Kathy. Kathy and Jess and Jeanette. How are you? Belinda's in the house. Grandma Bunny. So there's Grandma Bunny there. So yeah, so I guess we thought you were Grandma Watches, but I guess you're a different Grandma Bunny. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Alexa, you reboot. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, she was the only expert here, but
now what are we gonna do?
I don't know. Look pretty.
Alexa. Yeah.
It's my strong suit for Lisa.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's everyone right now.
Yeah, right, Lacey.
So Sharon, as for this little boy, I honestly don't know much about the story. So if there's a few little gaps you can fill in there, because I was watching Hey JB just a bit, and I was watching Ickmount, and I was very confused because it's like they're talking. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's our end of the month tonight.
Yes.
Any donations are appreciated. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, so end of the month. So thank you so much. That means a lot. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah. That's how much of that I built.
There's no booze here because, you know, I'm trying to stay away from any of that. I don't really drink a lot, but I haven't had any of those really bad stomach. I don't even know what to call them. More like nightmares, to be honest, when it was happening. So I was in my head now. I have it associated with booze or something, because you know, I was drinking a little bit of that Crown Captain Morgan, you know, for a couple weeks there. I had like I had some bottle of one left, and then my husband had bought me one, and I went to go buy the one that Joe Johnson, but they didn't have it at the liquor store, whatever it was called, Sailor something or whatever.
Sailor.
Anyways, I don't really know my alcohol too well. But I just
did they rule out an ulcer?
Hey,
oh, I hear an echo.
Did
they rule out a ulcer
for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have no ulcer. I have I just forgot because what is it, colitis or something in the stomach lining?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm associating it perhaps with that. So it's because I haven't had anything since because Freckle Joy made a comment. Although like I said, I've never been a big drinker in my life. I was drinking some alcohol, so maybe that was contributing to that. I don't know, because I haven't had one since, so I'm kind of chalking it up to that, perhaps.
Yeah, no, probably not.
You know,
no,
so there's Alexa. Is she talking? Hi, Alexa, you back?
Hey, Alexa. Nope.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what it is.
Okay. I don't know what it is.
One of your boys is probably in their bedroom on their iPad.
Yeah.
I think all of them, the three of them are probably playing.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah. You always used to just come on lives and no issues, and now it always seems like you're lagging or something, you know, and struggling. I don't know why. You know, did you ever talk to your provider?
The internet company is toggling you, or what's that called? Is that toggling? Where they like slow your speed down?
I think so.
Yeah.
Exactly,
You just need
Mr.
a higher speed. You just need to go. You need to call them up and say,
Yeah,
"Give me the
I'm
map."
telling you, we pay for so much, and I don't understand. But no, this week I'm calling them tomorrow.
Yeah.
I promise.
I
This
got
is
my
BS.
dogs. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, you guys, but we were talking about this boy about, being found in an alligator's mouth. So there was so share like anyone that else knows about this story, please put it into the chat because I was very confused. It sounded like that the father of Talon had took out his son and the mom, his wife or other half or whatever she was, and that he tried to feed the child to an alligator. Is that correct, Sharon? Mm-hmm. Prayers for recovery. So I'm not, like I said, I only caught it.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I never did figure out why my music wasn't going off. For
you said it
that.
was
Sorry.
disabled.
Yeah. I had to fire my dishwasher today and now I don't have a job.
Mhm.
I had to fire my dishwasher for
For being
being
bad or bit.
what? For being bad. And now
Or
I don't.
BITCHY.
I'm just trying to figure this one out, Shelly. I had to fire my dishwasher today. So you fired your dishwasher and now you don't have a job? Who was your dishwasher? And why don't you have a job because you fired the dishwasher?
Thank you, Callie. Anything we can help with?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, thank you, Shelly, for the $5 donation. Again,
Thank you, sir.
it is appreciated. This is our last day of the month, you guys, and we haven't really had a good month. So thanks so much for that. It does help. Absolutely. No, they found the child. Yes, they found the child in an alligator's mouth. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, Shelly was the dishwasher. Yeah. Okay.
You're.
Shelly.
Oh, look. Hey, Alexa's giving it to her family. Look at her. Okay. I thought she would yell at him.
Okay, Callie. Love you, girl. She fired. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Me and Adam, I think, were a little slow in that because we were still trying to figure out what the B word meant. But if you would have put B blank 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 blank, it would have. But you had B dot dot or like let's dig. So that's why I was like, yeah. I mean, she must have been a real BITCH. Sounds like it. Sounds like it. No, in Super Chat it doesn't let you put super words. Yeah. Okay, just I don't point guys.
I feel so bad for Alexa. That's the worst feeling, when you're trying to, you just feel helpless. I would be like sweeping everyone in my house off the internet if I was in that situation right now.
Yeah. So okay, well, first we'll start off again with one thing I figured out. You have great. Well, thank you very much. So 3 of those hearts are mine, right, Shelly or Kathy? Sorry, I'm on Kathy now. 3 of those hearts are mine, and is Adam's the black heart? Because that's what it looks like to me. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah.
As long as I know there's one in there, I don't care what color it is.
Lexa doesn't count anymore because she's in here. She isn't going. So you guys, thanks so much. Appreciate that. And like I said, we're on our second live here. So if we do seem a little bit out of it a little bit, I got in a 15-minute power nap just before the live. And, that probably wasn't the best thing to do, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Alexa, it is a new month. You haven't broken any laptops this month.
Right.
I do want to say before I know that a lot of people. I don't know if you're in the Midwest or in Indiana or whatever, but anyone that is got bad weather coming through, please stay safe. I saw the storms that were going through my old where I grew up in Southern Illinois and Central Illinois, Iowa, Arkansas, and I saw they were moving into the Indianapolis area about 20 minutes ago. So stay safe if you're in Indiana.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what the weather's like over there, but it's kind of rainy and crappy over at this end of the world. It was really nice, and now it's like miserable weather.
The tornadoes that were going through this evening were, I mean, huge. Iowa had a really big one, and Little Rock, Arkansas had a really large tornado. So stay safe.
Yeah. And hey, tomorrow's April 1st, guys. No pulling any April Fool stuff on me. I'm too smart for everyone in here. Too smart for y'all. Doesn't work on me. I can do it to you. I'll do it to Adam.
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
Okay, you guys. Just a reminder that
tomorrow's everyone's opportunity to go off the Ron Logan train. Just like, no, it was an April Fool's joke.
I was gonna say, yeah. If you see a thumbnail that specifically said that, I am 120% positive that Ron Logan is the BG. Just that's accurate. It's about as accurate as I can get that, to be honest with you. Maybe 130%. I mean, there must be something that's better than 100%. So 130%. Yeah. Don't forget about
his blood alcohol level was a 120 proof.
Thank you, Shelley. I did forget about it because usually someone is reminding me and she didn't, and I don't remember. But yeah, got to remember about that too. But so way over 700 snow bass in Utah skiing extended to the longest season ever. Yeah, I'm not a snow bunny at all myself, you know.
Right.
Never was.
700 inches of snow. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I don't even know how much that is. Is that bigger than how much is that? Like
probably it's probably different if you ask a guy or if you ask a girl.
Like 10 feet to 5 feet?
No, 700.
Yeah. Okay. I'd have to pull out like the little calculator.
It'd be almost 100 feet of snow.
Husband is a ski instructor. Oh yeah. Did I tell you that I love snow? Yeah. I mean, I like snow so much. As long as I'm sitting in that little cabin at the bottom with the hot chocolate, absolutely perfect day.
Now we know where the bunny comes from. Now we know what the bunny stands for.
you know that we all know how men exaggerate inches. That's pretty funny, Miss Ducklover. And Lacey, you know what? I've always said that, to be honest with you, I always say, and then people sometimes say if you say that somehow that you're lying. And I'm just like, no, it's just an expression that I've always used. To be honest with you means I'm just being honest. Not that normally I lie and I'm just being honest now. You're joining Graz's channel? Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I feel like you are moving upwards then, Mustang, if you're moving on up to that channel. You know, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know that we can compare to that channel, really. I mean, if we were going like downwards, you know, I mean, it'd be probably like a thousand.
Okay, I can't hold it. I've heard that if you join at the top tier, you get to date him.
Is that what you heard?
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding, Cross.
Yeah, top tier good enough. April Fools. You're trying to get these in early. Look who found herself little other snow bunny there. Who's that? Is that Mal? Mal?
I've recently been accused of being an associate of hers, so hi Mel.
Hi Mel. Anyway, my son lives in Utah. I'm home visiting and we took off to the beach. Isn't life a beach? I love this. You know, I love the snow when you're sitting inside and it's untouched and you look out the window And that, it to me, is beautiful. Now, going out in it is a whole different story. You'll never catch me sliding down those skis on a slope. Nope. Have no
Hey, Kristen.
desire to be cold. Yeah. Hey, Kristen, how are you? Hello, lovelies. Mustang. Associate. Please elaborate. I'm marrying Rick Snay and Ron Logan and his best man, April Fools. Listen to you guys, eh? Well, you're taking JLR, Lacey.
Miss Tugliver, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Don't let Ron Logan be the best man. He'll lose the ring.
Mm-hmm. JLR is live right now. What kind of antics could we possibly do to up JLR's game? I just gotta keep making those faces.
Let me think about it.
Yeah, what do you think we should do? Do you think that we should go and accuse, of course, Buster of any wrongdoing, perhaps? Buster. Actually, no. I just want to know why JLR he should have been at Kegan Kline's court hearing. I'm disappointed.
Kegan Kline would not have gotten in that van without JLR being right there, being like, "Let me yell my little tiny head at you."
Shame on you, Adam.
I'm just kidding. We love you, JLR. Don't sue us.
I just feel like JLR would have probably, found his way to the back of that courthouse and whatever, or in the tunnel, and he would have got Kegan Kline. But you guys know that yesterday, right? So obviously there was a photo taken out. So I'm just kind of going to take names here. Who do you guys think took that photo in court? Do you think it was one, Anthony Greeno? Do you think it was Kegan Kline's cellmate? Who else was there? Do you think Murder Sheets did it? Do you think yeah.
Well, remember, it was blurry, so maybe it was taken on a flip phone.
JLR is Jonathan Lee Riches. He's like a cheesy boy channel. Yeah. He's a pumped up Greeno. He actually is way better than Greeno though. But he's on that same level, but he's
like the Nickelodeon version of Greeno.
Yeah.
Like he's like a friendly family. A family friendly Greeno.
Yeah, Greeno's like a minus 4.0 and he's like a plus 4.0. Yeah, but still, if you look at the backgrounds, I think Greeno still wins. I think Greeno still wins for the shadiest background between the both of them. But Greeno never did 10 years. Greeno never did 10 years. I don't know. Living the dream. Living the dream. I got Adam by my side. What better day could I have, right? Alexa, she's having issues.
Technically, I'm under you.
Yes, I'm on top.
In more ways than one.
I'm on top. I'm not squashing you, am I?
No. It's my favorite position right here, Sonny. Just.
My favorite position would be lying back in the bed behind me. That would be my favorite position.
Okay. Kristen, you're going to have to give me a warning before you say things like that.
What'd you say? He's on Marvin Frank's channel, right? Please. Don't, please. I don't feel like laughing that hard right now, please. Yeah.
We're your little Mensa meeting.
Yeah. Now there's the biggest April Fool's joke right there. Okay, so Greeno never did 10 years in one stretch. Right, I know. I give it up for JLR, for that, to be honest with you. Or at least you don't buy subscribers.
Wow.
It's actually funny you say that. Who does that? I was going to say, it's actually funny you say that because we were literally just looking at a channel that you can tell is bought in subscribers. And, the thing is, okay, so I didn't even know that you could do stuff like that. I know that there's always scams for everything, but, you can buy subscribers. But the only thing is about that is that if you buy subscribers, so YouTube works on an algorithm. And they work on the fact that that those, of course, subscribers, those fake subscribers, are stagnant. They're dormant. They don't do anything for you. The only thing they do is puff up somebody's ego to make it seem like that they have more subscribers than they actually do. So it's not benefiting the channel. It's just trying to make it seem like your channel has more subscribers, but they don't help with the algorithm. They just stay dormant. They don't join your live. So you can always tell when somebody's buying subscribers because their lives are very low and there's very little comments to the lives, and it hasn't benefited you. So if you're covering the same stuff in a sense over and over again, and then you've jumped up like say 4, 5, 10K, whatever, 20K subscribers, again, if it's not really matching your views in your lives, but why people want to spend the money to cheat themselves, it's just amazing to me. But yet you can sit there and you can buy, I guess, shares, you can buy, I guess, views, right? If YouTube catches you and you're using a bot and they catch you, you've just wasted your channel. So I personally have no respect for that whatsoever. And we were literally just talking about that because we were literally watching a channel, that keeps increasing and increasing, like 10 subscribers pretty much every hour. And it's noticeable. It's just noticeable, unless you're like this big channel. But why do people need to do stuff like that? Anyways, so yeah, but I guess
Good night, Shar.
Is Shar out of here?
Yeah, Share. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say
You
said
had me all
Shar,
distracted. You had me all distracted. I'm like, wait. I'm like, because I'm trying to think. I'm like, what?
Don't make me say it wrong. Don't make me say it wrong. Because
I clearly subliminally pick up on things you say, and then I'm like, oh yeah, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Yeah. Share.
Well, it's like today. Adam was late for the live earlier. And no, it's definitely. So the first time I said that the live, I said something like 1 p.m. PST, and I said 5 p.m. EST. And then he corrected me and said, no, it's any. And even though I knew, but he said, no, it's 4. And then so Adam even like 3 times I said, don't forget 4 as we're talking about it. So it's almost like he drew a mental blank because it's like I'm trying to call him, and CD's like, tell Adam it's at 4, not 5. And I'm like, well, he's the one that corrected me, because I had originally said 5 the first time by accident. So yeah, Princess was late for the live.
They moved the time on.
Yeah. And then we were on the live and we thought we were live. John was saying, do we do the, do you want to do the countdown first and then go live? And it's like, no, you do the countdown as you're going live. And so we're sitting there introducing ourselves, and then CD says, John, we're not live. And me, I don't even notice that little live button or whatever, but only have 15 in chat. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I would be happy to have 15 if I did a live.
Yeah.
Oh, good, Lisa. Did you get that? Don't cash it until next Friday.
Yeah.
I just pay people for subscribing directly to.
Yeah. We have about, I don't know, I'd say probably about 2,000, maybe 1,500, because of the Nicole Bowen case, but that's a whole different time zone. The only person that truly probably comes from England is Miss Dog Lover. And no, there's probably a couple people from England. So we'd gained probably 1,500 or so off of the Nicole Bowen, because out there in the UK, like, they've never really seen a story like that. Oh yeah, and we're over 7,500, by the way. But they've never really seen like a story like that. So Nicole Bowen's case is still it's huge. It's dying down a little bit, but it's a very intriguing case. Just for the fact of, for Nicole Bowen's case, there was literally nothing at all to show that it was an accident, like, meaning there was legit zero to this day that nothing, like, there was nothing to show that it was an accident. And that's why it's like, well, did she unalive herself? Did she something happened to her with a third party, that something happened. And it's simply because there was zero evidence to go with their main hypothesis, which was that she had an accident. And still to this day, there's not one thing to show besides they know now. They obviously know now. But in my brain, I just figure that if it was a homicide of some sort, that they would have announced this by now. I would have thought. So then, to me, it leaves more about two options. But you never know. I mean, the autopsy hopefully will come out, and then they'll make it so that we know what happened. And so, let me put it this way: it would have to be the biggest freak accident that all the sonar, all the searchers, that there was no markings left on the ground, like all of that would have had to fall in line, that they could not find her, etc., etc. Because it wasn't the police that found her; it was a psychic medium and his friend that found Nicola 3 weeks later. So that's why people are having a hard time with that one. Oh, I haven't looked at that email yet. You need to look at the Sarah Everard, Libby Squire, Sarah Payne, Jamie Bulger, and the Soham girls. So many horrible things that have happened in the UK. Yeah. Wait, sorry, Miss Oliver. I thought about that earlier, and I forgot in a sense until you just reminded me again to go look at that email later. So I will do so. Hey, Alexa, you better now?
I think so. I have to change laptops, but
Mm-hmm.
let's hope so. Let's hope so.
And Adam, I'm sorry. Are you not going to be on Kristen Behind the Crime Doors live tomorrow night?
Yes, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Kristen's time in the Central Time Zone. I'm getting my time zones down now.
So 9 p.m. Eastern.
You're going to be on?
Yeah, but no, on Kristen's.
Yeah, on Kristen's channel on there. Okay. And again, Kristen, by the way, had bought us these, or sorry, not bought us, but maybe she bought them, but had sent us these bracelets. One is Abby and Libby, and the other one is the Flora Girls. I've still never taken them off since I actually have had them.
I actually don't have mine on.
You don't?
It's sitting on my desk at my condo.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Fuzzy B. How are you? Okay, so again, yesterday was Nicole Bowen's 4-year anniversary when Garrett Kirts. Actually, let me just see if I have it, because I want to show you guys exactly who these nasty people are right here. Okay. So this right here, of course, is Jasmine Parker. I believe, yes. Hold on. Yes, Talitha Beckley, Jasmine Parker, Ugmug, Ashley Garth, Garrett Kirts, and Chris Mathis. Okay, so these are the 5 people, if you don't know who they are, that took Nicole Bowen's life. Now, Chris Mathis, it was said that basically Garrett Kirts had picked him up on the way when they disposed of her body in the shack. Thank you. And there you go. Yeah, love you too. Thank you, Kristen. So she basically, Nicole Bowen, like I said, they put her in a shack, and because Doug Carter referenced the shack all the time, a lot of people kept thinking too as well that the shack had some sort of reference, even though he came out saying that no, people are saying that it has something to do with the shack. Who knows? He said it didn't, but in Nicole Bowen's case, they called it a shack. She was found in basically like a hunting trailer. It was almost like a semi type of thing. And she was rolled up in a blanket. She was strangled with a cord, and I still believe that had the owner of the property not found her the next day, that they literally would have went back and tried to, dispose of her differently or stage it or something. But anyways, so Mikey Hiddle, the person that's not on the front that you guys can see, he was there, but he wasn't there when Nicole Bowen was unalived. And so he never did get charged. Now, in this case right here as well, okay, in Open Secrets, this is where Garrett Kirts, let me take this down, sorry. 1 second. This is where Garrett Kirts had said that, okay, so he never said Jason Palladino's name directly, although he referenced it. He said Jason Palladino's name in a news article when he said that there was an executive decision had to be made. And if anyone has ever looked at Ashley Garth's appeal, that's where they talk about it, where they say that like they were at the Palladino house, like Talitha and I think Jasmine and whatever, and Garrett, and they were talking about that she had to go, meaning Nicole Bowen, but Palladino was never charged for it because even though he said she had to go, I guess maybe he didn't get his hands dirty and he wasn't actually at the trailer that day. Regardless, so basically what happened is that he never did get charged for it. And again, this is a thing, the Palladinos, and Mikey Hiddle will tell you this. Mikey Hiddle will not talk about the Palladinos at all. He knows that they're badasses and that you don't mess with them. Probably if you mess with them, probably, something really bad is going to happen to you. Same thing like with Gabriel Ellis, you basically think. So Ray Hanisch was unalived 2 weeks prior, basically, to Nicole Bowen. Nicole Bowen wanted to talk to her sister, I believe it was, or was it her aunt? Was it Ginger, Mel, that you wanted to talk to? Was it Ginger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ginger's-
Okay. Yeah. He did say Palladino in court, did he? When he testified against Ashley Garth? Okay, thank you. Right. And so to me, like the Palladinos are just like, they've just been getting off. But we all know that Carroll County is as corrupt as, especially with Judge Fouts, when Judge Fouts was on, a judge there. And then I think it was, was it 2020 that he had to step down because of his, with Tiara, the Mistress Lady of the Night, with Tiara. Again, it all just, like Delphi, it's all just intermingled and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, so Nicole wanted to talk to her aunt to tell her something. She never got that opportunity. Now, I remember that there was some posts that Garrett Kirts had made saying that he was going to unalive her, like some nasty little posts going on the Facebook, which were eventually taken down. But the thing is that just like in the Ashley Garth appeal, you can see that it wasn't just because of Ray Hanisch that they were going to take her out, because this was months before, meaning it wasn't just because of Ray. Ray was, whatever the story is with Ray's case and Grindr and stalking Ray and unaliving him and, strangling him. It was, like I said, in the paperwork there, it was said that, months before that at the Palladino house, they were basically saying that they got to get rid of Nicole. So why do they have to get rid of Nicole? Right? A lot of people think that, okay, well, Ashley is ugly as fudge. We know that. And then you have beautiful Nicole, so you can see, darn well, definitely that Ashley is going to be jealous of
100%.
100%. But then it became, well, what else was it? Like Garrett Kirts said, basically that they got rid of her because she was going to think them out for the meth and stuff like that. Do you have any of them links to Libby's or Abby's family? What links, Mr. Oliver? I'm not sure which links you're talking about on there, but yeah, you have to let me know. Garrett was close friends with me. Yes, Garrett was close friends with Michaela Babcock, which is Libby's cousin, and Michaela Babcock and Garrett Kirts were like really good friends, like really close friends, and that's the one Michaela Babcock is the one where Garrett said that Michaela had told us, and not just him, but all of us, that the girls had so many stab wounds that they started killing. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, you know.
Right.
So Garrett Kirts has put a lot of talk into Jason Palladino, and with Delphi, and same with Chris Mathis to Garrett Kirts with Delphi. Nick Edwards said that Sheena is talking about Palladinos with Delphi. Why would it be such a shocker if he didn't get charged with Nicole Bowen's death? And I guarantee that his dirty butt's probably some in there with Ray Hanish's as well. At least if anything, they were selling Ray Hanish's stuff to the Palladinos, because that's where it was found.
You know, I was having a conversation with myself yesterday because because I've just been on this, I'm like, I always try to have critical thinking, and but like I can't shake the feeling that Kegan Kline, just something still doesn't feel right about like the whole like coincidental aspect of him catfishing Libby and all of the elements that go into that but then but apparently there's no connection, and then I immediately always turn to, but then again you also then could also argue that with Garrett Kirts about, here he is self-admittedly very close friends with Libby's cousin Michaela, and he is incredibly close with the property owner of where the bodies were found. So I'm like, so coincidences are, all around in this case. So it's just, it's really, it gives me a headache sometimes.
Yeah. Alexa, did you have anything that you wanted to say? I know that you probably don't know as much about that side of things, with the Nicole Bowen side and stuff like that. No? Okay. I think so. Oh, sorry, Christine. From where we went through some, yeah, that's true. So, thing is that I still fully believe that Kegan Kline, regardless, I think that people are kind of going away from Kegan Kline a little bit. Myself, my own thoughts here, guys. I think it's because there simply has been no charges or nothing substantial that they have brought against him. So now people are starting to, waver on if they think Kegan Kline had anything to do with it. And I say this, unless it's like Nicola Bully's case, where everything perfectly happened, the perfect storm happened, and they couldn't find her, and it was an accident. So unless Kegan Kline searches for Sandy Hook, for John Bonet, for how
long does DNA last on body after repeatedly listening to the DTH recording?
Yeah.
Like while on vacation, right?
Right. What about the what about the Googling of, say, Marathon gas station? What about the fact that his phone was talking to Libby? What about the fact, that, see, in my head, I always think that there obviously this planning happened before. Like she told Max Snowberger, but who else did she tell? She told Max Snowberger that she was going to be at the bridge that day, but who else did she tell that night? Right.
And we're not saying that Kegan Kline is connected. It's just, it is interesting the amount of loose ends that are still there. I mean, like he wasn't concerned with all of that CP that was on all of those devices that he handed right over to law enforcement. But yet there was something about that one phone, I think it was the 5C, that he intentionally did not hand over to police, then deleted Instagram, Meet Me, and Snapchat off of, and then reinstalled them and handed it, and then turned the phone in. So he had, we now know videos of girls under the age of 11 on those phones. He had no problem turning that over to the police. But when it came to that one phone that had those apps on it, he held on to it.
Ivy Rose, what's DTH mean? Yeah.
Down the hill.
Oh, after listening to Down the Hill, I missed that one. Where did it come from?
Yeah, it's in the transcripts of if you listen to the interrogation between Vito and Deputy Clinton and Kegan Kline. They talk about when he's in Vegas with his dad that he listened to it on repeatedly, and then Googled how long does DNA last on a body, and then he looked up John Bonet and he looked up Sandy Hook victims. So I'm not going to let go of the fact that there could be a connection still somehow, but I'm a critical thinker, so I get that the reality of what's in front of me.
I mean, right. And the thing is that all these three cases, Ray Harnish's case, Nicole Bowen's case, the Delphi, there's always this main thing in this one person, and his name is Garrett Kirts. Okay. So Garrett Kirts is, again, there's only been a couple people ever talking about Delphi. I don't buy into this whole braggadocious rights. Nobody is going to claim that they were any part of Delphi. Because they know what would happen to their butt in jail should, once they get in there. Garrett Kirts had wanted nothing to do. He didn't want to be blamed for Delphi, yet his mouth would not shut up. And same with Chris Mathis. Chris Mathis, he's Chris, but you just give those people a little bit of a bone and blah, 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 right? Typical meth heads, just blah, 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 thinking each other out. But meaning, to me, nobody else was ever talking about Delphi. Besides, there was one guy that said that he was the BG once upon a day. And besides people making up all these different stories and scenarios and whatever, which goes without saying, right? But the only people that were ever talking about Delphi was really Chris Mathis and Garrett Kirts. And Nick Edwards, who had brought up, like I said later, he didn't have to tell me anything. He could have just said, screw off, lady, type of thing. But he didn't. He literally answered me back. And I was like, whoa, dude, why are you giving me this information? But thank you, And it almost seemed like he gave me the information. And I could tell that he didn't want to give me much more. It's almost like he gave it to me, answered a few things. But he just kept saying, like, look, I was out of it, but I could tell, when you can tell that somebody has more information, but, because he said he was going to talk to the aunt of, I think, Ashley Garth or whatever it was. And then it just seemed like he said that she blocked him or something like that. It's just honestly the whole thing between the Cottrells to the Klines to the Palladinos to Garrett Kirts talking about Tamsin Reichels, and even back as far as Megan Allen phoning her mom from the bridge on the day of the 13th, and she's the same girl that showed up a couple days later, saying that she was, I don't want to say
daughter.
Yeah, Tina Rodell's daughter. And then even Tina, I've tried talking to her, Mrs. She was always flapping her gums, and then she stopped. And it honestly, it's just a mess. And then the only thing I can ever think of in my head is, who the hell is Richard Allen? Who the heck is Richard Allen? Because going back to this Alexa, I think you said too, right? Who's Richard Allen? Do you see Richard Allen pulling this whole event off himself? At 45 years old, races through, I think you said you didn't.
There have been cases that, it can be possible. I just don't see him as what I hear, that the crime scene is so elaborate. I don't see somebody like him being so sophisticated.
But what do we really know about him?
Well, yes.
We really know.
I honestly never thought that anybody that we heard was involved. I always thought it was going to be somebody we never heard of, but I picture somebody different. I knew he was going to be mad like that, but I thought he was going to be a little different than what he is.
Not a leprechaun.
Well, yeah, a little bit stronger, taller, right? But
what if this? What if he's 40? What if he was 45? But this wasn't his first. There's so much about his past and his life that we don't know about.
I would be shocked if I honestly always believe this is his first. I would be really shocked.
I always did too, but I have to admit that most of his life we know nothing about.
Yeah.
All I know is he he likes to smoke and he likes to go to the bar, obviously. So
Right.
at
He
those
likes
places,
hiking.
hey,
He likes hiking too.
yeah. So all I picture in my head is him, because he, because in the smaller towns, like all these people seem to know each other. It doesn't matter if they live in Yeo, man, and that's like where the Paladinos live, or if they're in Lafayette or whatever, or if they're in Frankfurt, or they all seem to know each other in Peru and all those places. Like they all are connected. Like, so for instance, the guy that's on the alias that came up for Richard Allen, his name was Craig Renfro. Okay, now we got nothing to prove on Craig Renfro whatsoever, besides his name showed up as an alias that Richard Allen used. Heaven forbid that Jasmine Parker, this chick right here, is on Craig Renfro's list, along with Mike Cunningham, the person that was, stealing what is it? What's that stuff called again? You guys?
Anna Enders. Yeah, I can't think of it.
Yeah, that word. But meaning, so Mikey Cunningham and Derek German and all that, like these are all associates, and these people are doing math. And so I don't care. Like I said, I'm going to still hold strong with the meth and drugs. And Richard Allen, if anything, I mean, can I see him being a perv and being part of some sort of like, I don't know, old man perv stuff with, some of these people, or knowing some of these guys from the bar and stuff.
And even that doesn't click because he doesn't seem like very sociable either.
No, I just see it as money, drugs, and sex ring in a sense. That's how I'm still seeing it. I'm thinking that the two still weren't interconnected. Judge Fouts, to me, is still, like I said, Judge Fouts has proven his track record and that he's corrupt. Tierra has told me about the lawyers and the mayors and the different things that are corrupt as well. That all those names that typically you hear of, whether it's the mayor of Lafayette, which it was, and the taxi cab guy, and the stripper club owner and stuff like that. Again, there's just a lot of corruption behind it all. So when you have Judge Fouts at the helm, I distinctly remember a conversation that he was having with Tierra when he thought, I think it was something else. And I distinctly remember this, and do you think I could ever find it again? I distinctly remember something where he said that, don't worry about it, Delphi is my case, or something like that. And I could never find it again. It was almost like it was in part one of the conversation, and I could never find it. And I asked her about it, and I don't even think that she remembered. But I distinctly remember that because I remember thinking, oh, hey, Delphi is yours, eh? And I just remember, but this is when I didn't overly know a lot. I was just kind of trying to go through all the information of Tierras and stuff like that. Yeah, and by the way, that Wix site must have been taken down at some point, not because of her, because she said she hasn't been able to log into that for a long time. But I went to it the other day and it wasn't there anymore. Good thing that I had recorded it still, though, because I knew that at some point, you know what I mean? It's always good, you guys, obviously, if you see something lots of times, to record it, just so that if somebody does take something down, that you still have, a recording of it. But anyways, so Richard Allen, regardless, because of the lack of information, and again, Craig Renfro. But the other thing the other name that attaches is that Alyssa Land. Now, Alyssa Land is some sort of nurse, and her name attaches to as the number one friend associate. Now, again, when I look up Alyssa Land in Flora, she lived right near Christy Lynn Martin. Okay, not only did she live near in that same area as Christy Lynn Martin, but then one of the Brummets, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, plus the Cunningham name, I believe, was on it. Anyways, there's about 3 or 4 different names, and I'm like, oh, what a small world after all. So those were attached to around her, these names, okay? And so and again, this is the closest connection I can even find with Richard Allen anything. So because of that Alyssa Land name that is showing as the number one associate, which means that person is basically your friend, even though I seen her on a phone number one associate, and those other names are attaching around her, it wouldn't shock me that they're attaching around Richard Allen as well. you know, because if you go to Craig Redfro's thing, like I said, you'll see all these names that you got some, you know, definite some killers on that list, and you got a lot of meth dealers and shade on his list. So those are the closest things I've ever come across to ever think that we have no information what or who Richard Allen knows, besides getting that close in a sense to estimating or guessing. And so I still feel like like that he knows some of these people, like he's in the mix of these people, but we just don't have the social media presence ourselves to find out any more than what we kind of know, unless someone secretly sends information that shouldn't be. Those are always good people. I don't know. It's a very confusing case. And then as for Kegan, like, dude, like he's a piece of shit. But I still hold a lot of weight that Kegan Kline was part of the lure, absolutely, to lure Libby and Abby. So who else did Libby know that she was going to be at the bridge the next day? Because Richard Allen went there like he was on a mission. You guys agree? From the affidavit, do you guys believe that he kind of went there on like as if he was on this mission to be there? And it's not like he was there way prior. He was like there 20 minutes prior to the girls arriving. Your thoughts? Go ahead. My voice is tired.
No, I mean, I understand like why you, but I mean, you always say that the timing is so short. Did you think that he needed more time to prepare? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, somebody just doesn't bolt by people to get to what he's about to do. You just don't do that. That's not normal. Normal people would be. Well, normal people would be getting there, planning their attack, and hiding in the woods more so, not letting people see them and coming across people down the path. Do you know, like there's nothing normal. Go ahead, Alexa.
No, that shows you that he, you know, he doesn't have experience. But I mean, the timing, I mean, obviously, I think he had it planned. I think because usually the people that are alive, usually they plan it, is one of those things that they plan it in their head over and over and over. And obviously he had to know this area very well. And I think the only thing is, I think those mistakes tell somebody like me that, you know, he was an amateur, because usually you're right. That's the only part that I don't understand. Why would he walk through through there and let him see? But at the same time, I mean, I always thought that it was a mistake. I think, you know, he obviously amateur, doesn't know what he's doing. And he made a mistake. And I think because he made that mistake, that's the whole reason that he had to say that he was there, because he was afraid that somebody was going to say, hey, I saw this guy, without thinking that he really didn't. I mean, he should have just kept his mouth shut, because he didn't call any attention from anybody until he said that he was there. You know what I mean? But the timing, I don't find the timing, for me, a red flag. I think, you know, he knew what he had to do. He knew he had to go from point A to point B.
And he knew where they would be.
And they would be in the time.
Thought they'd be there. Because, you know, if not, why would you walk by the 3 other girls if your only goal was to commit the act that he did, but the victim didn't matter? Why did he pass the people that he did to get to that bridge when you're honestly you're less likely to encounter, your intended target if it just happens to be a young girl. But he had somewhere to be, and he knew what time he had to be there.
I was gonna say, like, Adam, I feel like that somebody let him know that she was going there, and it's almost like he's like as if he was told to him. I still think that for him, I don't know, like you guys, we can freaking talk about this all day long because it's such a confusing case. But it's almost like I remember when Angela Thomas, the psychic medium that was on our show a couple times, and when she had said that somebody was watching the house or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't shock me that 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 basically Richard Allen was told, okay, she's going to be there, like get your butt down there type of thing. And, that's how it more plays out in my head. Again, you guys, I mean, it really, like, I struggle with these thoughts every day. Richard Allen, who the hell are you, dude? Can I find something? Can I find something on you to show that you are connected to these people? And I'm sure, well, I don't know. You know what? To be honest with you, Delphi really pisses me off because I just feel so disheartened in so many ways, and I'm praying that the girls get the justice that they deserve. But I think about all the sloppiness that's happened in this case, and there's not been another arrest since Richard Allen. I just feel like that because they flubbed it up so badly that we'll never know the truth. That's how I feel. That we'll never know the actual truth. I'm praying I'm wrong, but I'm really actually quite ticked inside just how badly they muddled this case up with Abby and Libby.
Maybe Libby and Abby. Maybe they'll send one more. Maybe they'll send one more gift to help solve this. Because I do think that's what it's going to take is a strike of luck. And I know, like, we were talking. I mentioned it last night, and I guess some people were like, "Oh,
right back."
About that." But in the vehicle,
all right.
What if there is DNA in that vehicle? They have found DNA after much longer than 6 years in vehicles before. Or what if they found hair in one, at Richard Allen's house of one of the girls? Because he said that he did not know them at all. So maybe Libby or Abby sent, like I said, one more tool to help put this guy away.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
Yep.
And then we just don't know about it yet because we don't have the forensic results of anything that they found from the search warrant of his vehicle or house. I'd like to know.
What was I going to say here? Joan says, is there any connection between RA and the Palladinos? Did they hang out at a pool hall like him 3 weeks? Sounds like a club. Fouts represented Kirts. Fouts represented all the Palladinos as well. He represented all the Palladinos. He represented Slimeball Greeno. He represented Garrett Kirts. And I mean, honestly, slime just follows slime, doesn't it? So my guess is that yes. And like, I keep trying to think of, I was mentioning this in Tom's chat, but Tom's chat was kind of strange yesterday, really, because every time I was typing something, the simplest thing, where it goes unhighlighted and it's almost like it's waiting for approval, even though it's the simplest thing. It kept happening. Every time I put a comment, it was like I think it was somebody asked me a question. I can't remember who it was now. And I answered it, but it's like as if it didn't exist. Anyways. So my thing was this, and I don't know where this is going, to be honest, but Cody Patty and Derek German were both into meth, okay? They're both into doing it, selling it. And so Cody Patty lived down 2 doors down from Richard Allen. That's where his baby's mama, the mama of his baby, lived. He had lived there for a while. Now that is true. And so there's part of me that wonders, because if he was into, what part was he into? Was he into drugs? But I feel like he's connected to these slimes in some way, and, for me, you guys know my kind of what the basis of my theory is that I still have always kind of held on to, because nothing's really told me otherwise, that Libby was the target because of being a snitch, because her dad turned in like Christy Lynn Martin, which is Gabe Ellis's. So Christy Lynn Martin did 17 years, they're still doing, for time for Gabe Ellis, in a sense. Now, Christy Lynn, whatever, I think someone said yesterday, that kind of took her away from her daughter, but Derek German was a snitch. Okay, so there's a snitch list, and Derek German's name's right on it. and that's why he didn't do very much time, right? And in all actual fact, it was Fouts that actually, even gave him like nothing time, basically. And then I'm thinking, like, okay, so Fouts gave him nothing time. Like, what the heck's going on here? Like, who who's who? So my thing with Richard Allen is, was it for money, or was he doing something with drugs? Was he, you know, people always say that you can't access this and can't bull, right? If there's always a will, there's a way to access and get things. So I don't know where he truly falls in, but knowing the fact that Cody Patty, just lived a couple doors down, like two doors down. I mean, that's probably one of the closest things to say that maybe Richard Allen knew the Patties, like knew Derek and Cody, because he's like, let me put it this
But
way. I mean, the guy's
but Becky and Sarah have said that no, that that none of them knew Richard Allen, other than the fact that he developed the just from the for the memory board.
yeah, but we also know, Adam, that Becky's sister is sitting there with Richard Allen's,
Right.
With
Kathy.
Richard Allen's wife. But like I just sometimes think that with Becky is that it's not that she's misleading. I think that sometimes she just simply doesn't know, and just kind of like there's lots of things that she doesn't know, or just like all things Anna didn't know, because like it's kind of like saying that Derek was a small time meth dealer, and if you talk to other people that know Derek, and they'll say no, they weren't just small time, like they weren't just small little time, like Derek was a big meth time dealer, so again, snitches get stitches, or things happen to your family, or things happen to you. So it's stuff like that, like I said, never to take anything away from the family, because I don't like the family like doesn't have any involvement, but I still feel that because of Derek German and his choices, that one of the more likelier scenarios to me is that Libby was the target, and that this was about sex, drugs, and money. It always goes hand in hand, all those things usually. Money for sure. But in this case, it's just so confusing because everyone's pretty much dirty birdies, or, meth dealers, or meth users, or, dirty judges, dirty attorneys, dirty, you know, gum smacking freaking sheriffs that call off dogs, and people that lose files to Richard Allen. And it just is, honestly, you feel like you're in a three-ring circus going, it's enough to make anyone's head spin, to be honest with you. And that's why with Delphi, we don't really cover it so much, because there's nothing to keep adding to it besides when court dates happen. Because nobody honestly can really offer much more about it besides to keep speculating and speculating and speculating and speculating, and and there's nobody can tell you anything about Richard Allen, besides family and friends. If someone wants to go, butt kiss some neighbors and stuff like that and try to get more information perhaps, but other than that, it's like a dog chasing his tail.
Can I answer a question? I just saw Ivy Rose asked a question. That what kind of person will typically make a weird crime scene like this? I mean, out of the four types of S case, I would probably say, obviously, he's not a visionary. I don't think he's mission oriented. I would say he's a lust K, and usually the lust case fantasize. Usually there is how can I say SA involved. Usually they like unaliving people by contact. Usually they like using a knife. So I always, I know the profilers have said hedonistic, but I would honestly say he is a lust. Okay, that would be the type of, and he would fit into this. You know, I always believe it's an essay fantasy. They don't have to do the act, but they do have the fantasy. And those are the,
I agree.
yeah. So I
But
would honestly say he is a lust. Okay.
I
but
100% agree.
I thought you felt like he didn't do it by himself, though, Alexa.
What do you mean? No, no,
I
no,
was
no, no, no. No, I always said that I don't think that, even though he unalive the person himself, I said the idea that I don't see him, that the idea came from him. Like, I think this is something organized. There has to be somebody on top, but
yeah.
the
I'm
thing
on.
has to come from him. I do believe
Well,
he's the one who did it. Physically, I believe that he did it, but I just don't see him, the elaborate crime scene. I don't think him coming up with this, or doing staging and posing, and no, I don't think he is as sophisticated. I believe if there's staging and posting involved, I do believe that the idea has to come from somebody else. So maybe somebody on top. But the type of K that he would be, I would say he's a lust.
yeah. It's a real flawful waffle, isn't it? In this
It
case.
is, because he won't even fit, in the categories that, in the case categories, because usually, then you will have to move into a subcategory. But I do believe, but I honestly, and the more we think and the more we see, by everything in the crime scene, everything that we hear that he did, I always, in that, I think maybe there's a link to a ring, because I don't see him being as sophisticated. And I don't think he has done it before either. So if he hasn't done it before, he, how can he have this experience in doing this? You know how long it takes, to stage and do all that. So the practice that it takes. So I honestly would say that, I think that maybe I do support the ring idea, that maybe he is in a ring, and maybe the order came from somebody else. And obviously you have to have the fantasy, and obviously you have to have the thing to do it, because otherwise why would you be there?
Um,
That's all.
yeah, it won't shock me if he's in a ring. He, kind of the loner guy, probably. His wife just looks like a beaver, almost like, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't see him like one of those rings that he goes, but I can see him in an online ring that he doesn't have to show up, and they don't have to see what he looks like or who he is,
Shelly, stay safe.
like a member kind of thing.
Yeah, Shelly. Confirm
Bye.
tornado.
Stay
I gotta
safe.
go.
Take care.
Stay safe, Shelly. Yeah. Um, and just for somebody that did ask, just to refresh on this one. So in the top right hand corner is Jasmine Parker. To the very left is Talitha Beckley. All these people right here had everything to do with a part or participating in Nicole Bowen's death. So basically, Garrett Kirts got 55 years. Ashley Garth got 48 years. Chris Mathis did his time. He got like the whole halftime deal thing. He was out, but then he didn't show up when he had meth charges against him. So he didn't show up for court. So he got rearrested again, and he sits in prison. Um, as for Jasmine Parker, honestly, I would have to look Jasmine and Talitha up. I remember Talitha a couple years ago saying that she was, she was going in. It was her time to serve. As for Jasmine Parker, I'm not really sure if she's in still or not. But they basically got a slap on the wrist of here's 5 years, but it's not really 5 years. It's I'm just appalled that they only get that type of time. Like, they were there. Garrett Kurtz said that everyone knew what was going to happen that day there. That everyone knew what was going to happen. Everybody knew, including Jason Palladino, the one that said that Nicole Bowen had to go. Because remember, he brought Ashley up there. Like, he brought so Ashley and Nicole, of course, got in a fight, which was bound to happen. Garrett, to me, is trying to trivialize it, and basically. So yeah, so of course a fight ensued, and basically Ashley was like, I think it, or I think Ashley said like use the cord, which was like think of a like a cord, extension cord type of thing, and so you know, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it was Ashley that was I think pulling on the cord, type of thing harder. Anyways, she died of just like Garrett Kurtz took out Ray Hanish there
Spanish.
of yeah. What do they call that? Ligature strangulation.
Um,
Um,
you mean manual strangulation or
well, they call it
no? Because that would
ligature.
be your hand. So it would be
Yeah. Okay. And so, but Garrett Kurtz, like I said in this thing, so that everyone knew what was going to happen that day. The whole point was is they were talking about Nicole Bowen months before. Jason Palladino never did get charged, even though I think rightfully so. He probably should have been charged in all this. And again, and honestly, if anything, it was to do with the meth. But I mean, it could have possibly been that she had knowledge of Delphi as well, perhaps. Who knows? Well, we won't know that unless someone fesses up some information that way. But we can be guaranteed that it was definitely to do with the fact of Nicole Bowen, of course. It was said that she was there with Garrett Kirts the night that Ray Hanish, was strangled, but we don't know for sure exactly what happened there or who else was there. We do know that she was going to talk to her aunt, which is GP Ginger, here, and that never happened because her life was taken. So again, Nicole would have known about Ray Hanish regardless, and they wanted to get rid of her a couple months prior. So whether that was Ashley Garth's doing, Ashley Garth seemed to play Garrett like a puppet. She was like the mastermind, and according to Chris Mathis, Ashley thought that she was some sort of psychology major, and because do you remember what was that question that he was asked? He said something about Open Secret said something about who was the worst of the two, basically Ashley or Garrett, but I can't remember the exact wording now. And then then he said, well, he said that Garrett was an instant person, instant reaction. And that Ashley Garth thought that she was like the mastermind psychology, that she was so manipulative, that she was like the worst of the two, basically. And that Garrett was just like an instant. And that's why with Garrett, when he's talking, you can tell the dude doesn't know how to shut his mouth worth anything. He think, Open Secrets was totally playing him, but while she was playing him, she, how people sometimes get soft spots. Doesn't matter if you're, you took out people or not. And she was getting a soft spot for him. She even admitted to that. Basically, how when people get too close to somebody, that what you started off doing, and then next thing you know, it's almost like you kind of have some sort of weird friendship kind of going in a sense. And yeah, so even Open Secrets had said that, but Garrett Kirts, blah blah blah, Chris Mathis, blah blah blah. I don't know. Hi Deborah, how are you? Let's just read. You guys go ahead. We'll go back to some of your comments. Meth can turn normal people into monsters. I think it opens up some sort of portal for demons to enter. Don't laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. It's apparently it uninhibits people, so it makes, anything that, you may have had, something that you might have, not always, but something, if you had some internal desire to do something, it's going to open all the floodgates so you can do it. I don't think that it's going to turn around and make you a serial K if you're not one already. But, if you've got those thoughts in your head, like Garrett Kirts, it enabled him to do, what he probably already had in his head. I mean, because there wasn't much else. Sorry. I could have articulated that better, but I'm, sorry.
No, but it's true. I mean, just because you have this position, or even mental, even if you're born, let's say, a psychopath, doesn't mean that you're going to become one. Like, you're going to become a K. It has to be also the environment. You
Well,
can't
we've
just
talked
say,
about
"Oh,
Brian Kohlberger, with using heroin that almost can have the opposite effect, where it actually for him might have taken some of those feelings away, if he'd had them prior to, I'm speculative, of course, but I was talking to a drug counselor about that, and they were saying, oh, absolutely, that sometimes that when people come clean, they do have emotional imbalance, because part of the reason that they used, whether intentional or not, could have been to kind of numb the things that they couldn't feel like they could control otherwise. And then when you stop doing it, you don't have control over that anymore in their mind. But I'm not a drug expert, so I don't, I'm just relaying what I've heard.
Yeah, and sometimes you change one addiction for another.
Absolutely.
Well,
oh, Ginger, that's so.
Yeah, she was doing great. Here, I'll put her picture back up quickly here again. This is Nicole Bowen. If anyone doesn't know, this is the mother of 2 boys whose life was taken at the hands of those 5 people that I just showed you. So yesterday was her 4-year anniversary for Nicole Bowen. So again, prayers to the family, prayers for their heartache. Anyone, like I said, unless you're in the situation yourself and have had to deal with somebody being with their life taken at the hands of another, I mean, I've never personally been in there, but it's these 5 people here that, for Nicole Bowen, if not more, like I said, if not more, because Jason Palladino was not charged, so we can't say that he was part of it, but I mean, if you kind of look at yeah, okay. But yeah, so that's why those 2 are off the streets, thank God, because I do believe that somebody else, another person or so, would not be here today because of those nasty people. I mean, honestly, they're a bunch of meth heads. Honestly, they do nothing but hurt people. Garrett and Ashley are exactly where they belong. And justice for Ray Hanish with Garrett Kirts and Ray Hanish. So thankfully for that there's charges brought against Garrett, for the death of Ray Hanish. So hopefully, if all goes well, he'll, get some more time. But there's nothing at all to ever take back that hurt and that pain that the family is feeling because of somebody else that took their life, and they don't seem to really care. These people don't seem to care. Yeah, like, these people aren't remorseful. They're only remorseful because they're in prison.
They got caught.
That's it.
And if they got out, they would, they might think they were going to be okay. And, I think that, Garrett would relapse, absolutely, and continue to, and probably kill again. I mean, look at Chris Mathis. He went to jail for, for drugs after he served his sentence.
Yeah.
Chris on top. Isn't that his Instagram? Chris on top.
Yeah, he has a few. Yeah, I know it really is. They all have a mass of Facebooks and Instagrams, and
because they probably they lose their phone and then they can't get into their account, so they just start another one.
Right.
Chris on top, the top of the S pile. Ooh. Twin flames, yeah, right now.
What?
I said, yeah, twin flames they are, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, there's always an alpha and a beta.
Yeah, why they all require billions of accounts. I know. Honestly, it's probably because they forget their passwords, create another one. It's easiest to do that, to be honest with you. But most of them all have many, many accounts. Chris Mathis has at least 5 or 6 Instagrams. It's
crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, honestly, when you do stuff like I did when it comes to the searching of people, of looking at all these attachments to each other, again, it is just, you're just doing circles, because what happens is at the end of the day, everyone is attaching to everyone all around. No matter, it's just a complete circle, that this person knows that person knows this person knows that person, and it's all these shady people too. And then the path that you go down, lots of times I never had some information lots of times either to offer, because I was too busy spending like 16 hours a day looking for connections so that I could provide you guys with, here's some connections. And then as I find some, then I would share them, like the Cottrells. Jason Palladino went out with the Cottrells. The Cottrells, what's her name, lived with Dirk Hayes in that house, in that same house, or
Sienna,
just the Cottrell, whatever her name was again. I can't think of that one Cottrell. Not God, I can't even think of her name now. Shoot. Anyways, there was a Cottrell that lived.
Well, there was Angel's brother as well, who dated, the ski mask victim.
Right.
Angel was Dirk's ex.
Go ahead.
I just said Angel was Dirk's ex-wife.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And it just becomes like a constant loop, of these people. And that's why when that alias come up for Craig Renfro, and then Talitha Beckley's on there, Cunningham, like I said, a bunch of nasty people. John Galitko, John Galitko would be tied to Kegan Kline, and right.
He makes me want to go to church. Sorry.
Yeah. John Galitko to me is like a Tony Klein. They got those nasty skanks on there for all those, when you go to somebody's, John Galitko is this ugly biker looking dude that's just nasty to look at. And if you go to like one of his multiple Facebook's account, but there's one that's has like 3,000 and something friends. Okay, the guy is disgusting. And when you look at his Facebook, all you see is these skanky chicks in these little, like from those sites type of thing, from, those ones that show off their things or whatever. He makes me want to go to church. Hey, Tom Webster, how are you? And so, again, like, whether it's Julian Powell, whether it's the Kleins, like these people, like the Martins, right? Like they all lived in that vicinity of knowing each other. Cottrells lived a block away from the Kleins, and darn well that the Cottrells knew the Kleins, and that the Cottrells, what's her freaking name? Why can't I think of her name? Sheena Cottrell. Okay, so she was with Palladino. Not only was she with Palladino, Ashley Garth was with Palladino as well. Because like Garrett told you, Ashley Garth would do anything if it meant getting, drugs out of the deal. And that's why Garrett was like, she made me feel about this big, Well, it's hard to believe that thing that we're staring at on the screen, I guess people have no boundaries or bounds, and but if you're in that world of that, you just kind of pass yourself around whatever it is to get your fix, whatever, right?
Did you say pass around? Are you talking about Ashley again?
Yeah, Ashley.
Sorry.
Yeah. I need.
Or was she passing them around? Sorry.
Oh no, Tom Webster. No. We had, Tom Webster, we had this chick and her name was Erin. And Deb knows her well, and Adam too. And her name was Erin. And her name is Erin Town. So if you ever see that name. So Erin Town, although she was a little odd, she could write things out like yourself, But I wouldn't want to put her in the same category as you, because let's just say that you're on the Earth planet and she's kind of on the other space planet. So she started off on this website with the world, in a sense, like this orb. And you did this thing with people and attached. Well, this woman went crazy with attachments. Like she was looking at tongues and jawlines and freaking all this, connecting this. At one point, I just had to say, Get out of my life. Honestly, you are way beyond anyone's brain power whatsoever. But we were all trying to work on this attachment thing, like Ashley Garth is attached here to this person. And honestly, it became such a headache because they all know everybody, Tom. That's like they really do. If you go to one person and you go look down their thing, then they're attached to this person. I mean, there's a person's Facebook that has Kegan Kline, about Keegan Dunker, Garrett Kirts, like all those people that you're looking at and you're going, okay, so who are you? Like, and honestly, it's enough to make your head spin.
I told you that someone sent me that Instagram account that was following like Kelsey, Derek German, Kegan Kline, Garrett Kirts, Chris Mathis, and I'm like, I just sent back. I was like, I don't have it in me to even go down this rabbit hole. But thank you.
The one main name that I'll still maintain is that I'll maintain a couple, but is Palladino. Palladinos to me are somewhere involved in this. It's been said enough times. Why wouldn't they be? I mean, really. I mean, if you were just looking at the odds, where the Palladinos and Garrett Kirts fits in, the Palladinos, again, mentioned with Delphi, Garrett Kirts talking about it, Sheena Cottrell talking about the Palladinos. Everyone's talking about the Palladinos. So I think, like I said, we all know that the Palladinos are about drugs and they're probably into the whole sex ring and they probably are just into everything, to be honest with you. I mean, that's not a really good family whatsoever. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't be saying this if I lived next door to them whatsoever, but I'm not. I'm in Canada, so come at me on there. But I'll tell you right now, if I was living in that vicinity, I probably wouldn't be saying that much about them because I'd probably fear for my life if I was. Anyways, Palladinos to me, but I just don't know if we'll ever see the answers. Like I said, the case has been screwed up, at least in our eyes, so bad. Go ahead,
I'm still gonna hold out hope that we do. I'm still gonna hold out hope that we do. I honestly believe we will.
Yeah. Does anyone in chat think that Abby was the target? Anybody? Does anyone Lizette? Does anyone think that Abby was the target? If you do, just put 1 if you think Abby was the target. I know we always talk about Libby, and I know that Lewis kind of thinks more along the lines of Abby on that side. Alexa, do you think Libby or Abby? Do you think more Libby than
Libby? No, I don't think it was Abby. Just even for the victimology, everything shows Libby. She's the one, she's the one apparently that has the more wounds. She's the one that was undressed. No, I would say Libby 100%. I think Abby, unfortunately, I always believe, I hate the word, but I think it was just a practical kill, practical K. Sorry, collateral damage.
There's, it's funny when you think about how much we know about Libby, and then if you really think about how little most people know about Abby. I mean, I would say the majority of people don't even know Abby's birth father's name. I'm like, and people don't, people want to dig into every little part of the Patty's life, and I get people have done that with Williams, but people just kind of are like, oh yeah, didn't even think about that, and not that they should, but it's just funny because we have such a plethora of information about Libby that very little is known about Abby. I mean, it really is.
The focus has always mostly been on Libby. Yeah. Even I have not put much thought into Abby when it comes to, was it her? Because, and that's because everything seemed like it was more of a target to Libby. And especially when the Kegan Kline stuff came out and that he was known to have talked to her phone that morning.
Right.
So everything has always led that it was more about Libby. But wouldn't it be a shocker? Wouldn't it be the cat's ass if all this time we're all talking about Libby?
I mean, we've heard things, but you never know. I mean, and I think the part of the narrative with Abby is that Anna was very adamant about it being that Abby was this she didn't have social media, she didn't have a phone, she was this incredible church girl, and I'm sure she was, but I'm sure she was 13 years old. She probably had other sides to her as well, and that's perfectly fine. It would be odd if she didn't, but
I don't think it would be Abby. I mean, for me, the main fact was the fact that Libby was undressed,
Right.
and I think for me that would be a big one.
right.
The way the other one, Abby, was left. No.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people don't even realize that Anna and Abby lived. That Abby lived with her grandparents too.
No.
They lived with Diane and oh my goodness, and her husband.
Abby did have social media.
Of course,
Charmaine. Her mom just didn't know it. Yeah. Like, I mean, Abby has a Facebook.
She has an Instagram.
Yeah, and she has her Instagram.
Right.
That's what I was thinking at first, and then all of a sudden I remembered going, "Oh yeah," because I've been to both of them.
Right, and she did have a tablet. Remember, you can get those apps on tablet. They're just Wi-Fi. My understanding is that it was just Wi-Fi accessible only. But there's just a lot we don't know.
It honestly, if any case wanted to mess with my mind and give me zero brain cells, it's Delphi. It's not Idaho. It's not Nicola Bullies. It's Delphi.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, Libby started her Facebook at 7 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's so sad because like I said, these girls, who would think that they were going to go out and that this was going to happen to them? And that's, like I said, because you're doing these things, you're talking to guys and you have no clue who's behind the computer, and then this happens. And I can't always help but always a lot of things will go through my head is the moment that they realized that they were in trouble and
one of them and then they did, and one of them knew what was going to happen because they saw it happen to the other one.
Yeah.
And even from before, that fear of that having to record because she felt the fear. Why would she record it? So.
Yeah. I mean, like for me personally too, like, I mean, I'm not going to lie, like, as a parent before ever being in any sort of true crime or whatever, I wouldn't have thought, well, I don't know that my son would have ever had a Facebook at 7 years old, but, like if he was 12 or something like that, I'd be like, sure.
Yeah.
Not thinking much of it, besides thinking of it as a way to talk to our family and friends. I mean, that's really what it was kind of for, was about high school friends and stuff like that and get acquainted. And then, like I said, and then it was just a way to talk to your family. And then next thing you know, it's morphed into, like I said, like there's.
Sorry, Sonny.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, because 99% of the other time, everything would have been fine. You know what I mean? So, I mean, no one would ever suspect this would happen. I mean, even today, like if you had a 13 or 14-year-old and you had taken every precaution and they were with a friend, you would never think that something like this was going to happen. The same way that, Kaylee and Madison, went out together, they came home together, they took a ride share, they were sleeping in bed and they got brutally, murdered. No one could prevent that, and no one could predict it either. Sometimes you can't. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
So sorry. Okay, so we know a long time ago that the girls apparently posted something about "We Have a Secret," right? Now Becky says that that's a song. We have a secret. Now this is to me one of those things where I believe that there was more to it than than a song. I think Becky thought it was that, yeah, it's a song that they whatever. I honestly, because she had talked to what's his name again? Yeah, snowboarder guy. Yeah, because she had talked to Max the night before, And, like, because he didn't want her to go. So he knew she was going to be meeting somebody, like going at whatever. And he didn't want her to go. And so then, of course, this happens. And, so for me, I believe that they truly did have a secret. And it was that they were going to go meet, whoever it was from the Anthony Shots account at the bridge that day. And I don't think it's one of those things that Libby or Abby or whatever would have all been dressed up and stuff like that. Like Libby kind of reminds me of one of those chicks that's just, just dresses herself.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't for me, I could care less. I was never a dressed up person like that. I would be wearing my sweatpants and my sweatshirt type of thing because I don't care about stuff like that. And Libby, I feel like is the same way.
Right. I mean, wouldn't you be excited if you thought you were gonna go hang out with like this hot model that like drove like a sports car and was giving you attention?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be excited.
Remember, because they kept saying that Libby was like totally in love with this account, right?
Right.
And that's why it's like Libby was supposed to meet, right? So, someone that day. So this is why I could never let go of the Anthony Shots account to the Kegan Kline attachment, regardless if it was Kegan Kline. To me, behind that account is the person that lured the girls there. And I mean, and this is just very speculative. So, darn well that one of Libby's friends, if that Kegan Kline knew personally, right? He could have got the he could have got the information from her, meaning Libby could have been talking to her, and unknowingly passed on the information that she was going to be there. I feel like that they knew, obviously, that Libby was going to be there that day, that somebody from the night before knew that Libby was going to be there and that this was the moment to capitalize on it. I can't see this being I can't see this being a Richard Allen, wakes up that morning and goes, well, what, I'm just going to pack up my gear that I got on here, because he was prepared. You're not just going to wake up in the morning and go, oh, you know what? I mean, whatever it is, he was prepared. Everyone knows, everyone, even the professionals.
He had the weapons with him. I mean, he was prepared to do nefarious, horrible things that day. But how did he know they were going to be there? That's
I'll be right back.
The thing we don't know. And like I said, there's so much about Richard Allen that we don't know. I mean, we don't think he had a social media presence. We don't know that he didn't catfish people.
Okay.
We don't know that, that he didn't have this dark, deep secret. We don't know.
Bottom line is they said that there was no connection to social media, that they had scoured her stuff. And then what happens in 2021? See, I always believed it was a lure. And I just couldn't wrap my head around that it was any other way besides a lure. And so finally in 2021, all of a sudden, right, now they know that the Anthony Shots account is what's tied to Libby. But they didn't know that was Kegan Kline behind that account. So anyways, they deemed that there was no lure whatsoever for all those years. So it really floored the family when they came back and said that this is like Kegan Kline. It had talked to Libby's phone that day. But yet prior to that, I don't know. Because how did they not come across that? Because remember, Kelsey had gone through the phone, gone through her sister's account in a sense and whatever, was messaging people to ask them if they had anything. And Kegan Kline was one of them, but she wouldn't think really much about it, right?
Or Anthony Shots, at least,
Yeah, the Anthony Shots account. So, like I said, so they deemed it that it wasn't anything to do with social media. When you can, Lovely News.
Well, we know why that it was, though, because at that point they were convinced it was Ron Logan, and they were wrong. And then once they realized that they thought, then they were convinced it was Kegan Kline, and apparently it turns out again they were wrong, because we know that it was Richard Allen on that bridge. I mean, it is, but how did he get there, and how did he know to be there?
Deborah, what number do you use for what?
And can I answer? I said Tom's. Yeah, all we know is that the interrogation with Kegan Kline talked about that he had plans to meet her. We don't specifically know that those plans were that day. A lot of people speculate on that they were on the 13th, but it's never explicitly said in the transcript. Absolutely. So yeah, it is just speculation and rumors. I think it's just trying to make sense of some of this. When we're 6 years into it, that you're like, I don't know. I just want to know how tied to. Well, I have a feeling that that there's a lot about Rich John we don't know, and I think the relationship between him and I'd be interested to see what his daughter has to say. I'd be really interested for
that. Yeah, and thank you, Miss Doglover. Will do. I just went and checked the email, by the way, and I'll share that in just a little bit here. That's so precious. Let's see here. Good night, Deborah. I don't even. What number was she talking about?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. IMO, if they had found text or messages. Did you already read that one? On the
I did not read that.
They would probably wouldn't.
Trying to articulate, and I'm having trouble doing that tonight. I'm like, I can't make sense of things.
Because we've already been on the live. She wanted Aspen calls for Taco Bell delivery. On there.
Look at trying to take us off topic.
Who is?
I said, look at someone trying to take us off topic. Keep that on your own stream.
I said to my husband, by the way,
squirrel.
I said to my husband, go grab some stuff for tacos and I'll make nachos, thinking that we'll have tacos tomorrow or something. Instead, I get thrown a burger and fries when I was on the live earlier. But I was really looking forward to nachos. Nacho cheese. I love nachos.
Nacho cheese. Nacho
tacos.
cheese.
Tom, let me ask you, Tom. This is a very, very important question. Tom, what do you put on your tacos? And is it ground beef? Do you eat meat? Actually, Tom? Well, I was meaning that in a good way. Well, yeah. Do you eat meat, Tom? Okay.
I was just thinking about Tom earlier today when I was listening. I was watching a video and they used a Mariah Carey song in it. What was that? Hero? Was that her song?
Hero.
Yeah. No. What song was that? I can't remember now. But I did. I thought of Tom immediately.
Oh, hard shell. Don't talk dirty to me, Tom. Don't talk dirty to me. I don't know what what's a chalupa? What's a chalupa, you guys?
I think it's like a fried tortilla. Maybe. I don't know. Just eat it. It's pretty in your mouth and shut up.
Yeah. I like super soft taco from Taco Bell. Or I like, but my favorite, so I do like having that once in a while. And actually, Tom, brilliant idea, by the way. So when I was making some hard tacos like last week, because I like mine in the harder shell. And then if you don't know this, Tom, I'm just going to teach you guys. You sprinkle water on your hard taco and then put it in the microwave or the oven. But I just say the microwave because it's easier. You sprinkle water on it. That way it makes it softer so it doesn't fall apart. Crunch, crunch, crunch. So it still keeps it hard but soft, a little bit softer at the same time. Anyways, then you open yourself up a soft tortilla shell, right? And put some stuff on it. But when you're eating a taco, then you sit there and you eat your taco. And then you put all that stuff that falls into it. Then you roll it up and there you go. There's your last taco is the super soft one. You're welcome. Amen. You're welcome, guys. That had everything to do with true crime, by the way. Because it's a crime when I didn't get my tacos and I wanted tacos and nachos or something tonight. Get back on topic. Okay, Tom, what would you like us to talk about? Besides chalupa whoopas there. See, now we're all on tacos.
Well,
Tom,
CD did it earlier today as well. Like on CD's live, he was talking about Taco Bell. And I'm like, CD, it's like noon.
I know we are sick of our
Give me 12 hours before you start trying to flirt with me.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Tom, if you could just donate $100, and then you can pick whatever topic you would like. Okay. So whatever funds you made last night, you just toss them this way. All right. I'm not even sure how much you made last night. I was just getting
Tom,
Tom,
did you do a live last night?
He did, and honestly, by the time Tom would get to a comment, it was probably about 20 minutes later in the live. Because at first, okay, so this is what happened, Tom. I was in your live last night, which I don't really go in lives too often. So I decided I was going to go in there and stay a bit. And I see that you're putting up Charmaine Stewart's comment. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen Charmaine. And Charmaine's like my fellow Canadian. Like this, right? I mean, she lived about 20 minutes down from me, yeah? And so, but anyway, so I see you put up this comment, and I'm scrolling up the chat and down, and I'm like Charmaine, I even actually sent her an email because I was like, you know what? I keep wondering where Charmaine went. Where's Charmaine? So I sent her off an email saying, like, are you upset at me or something like that? Like, I thought you were like my favorite Canadian and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so yeah. And so I'm looking for Deb, and I'm like, Deb, I don't see your name either. Like, Tom's got your name up there, but I'm not seeing you in chat. And I said, Deb, just test it and put a heart there just to see if I'm, by chance, did something happen there? Did I block you or whatever? And so, yeah, I couldn't see Deb or whatever. And so basically the chat is like, you can only go so far in the chat. But Tom was like 20 something minutes behind. And that's the reason why. So I could actually see Charmaine later. But because it was 20 minutes behind, but the chat doesn't let you go 20 minutes behind. So here I thought that Charmaine or I had blocked her by chance, and maybe that's why she was upset at me and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And so that's exactly what happened last night. And then I kept typing. Somebody asked a question, and I would just simply answer like, yeah, his court date's on May 18th. And then it was doing that thing where it needs approval from a mod. If you just make me a mod permanently, you wouldn't have that issue whatsoever. Tom. But anyways, so then I actually stayed to the bitter end, Tom. I did. I hung up with you right until you said you're gonna go. I think you know what was funny though? Is Tom, when he was doing his live, and then he said something like I think he was making it sound like he was getting a little bit tired, Focus on bitter. And so then all of a sudden he goes, yep, so I'll be doing it for another 59 minutes. And I'm just, so I was ready for him to say like, he's, going to go a few more minutes. And I'm like, wait, you're still going to go another hour? You go, Tom. Like, he makes our lives look impressive, to be honest. Okay. So
I know what I'll watch when I go to bed now. Then.
Focus on bitter. I'd rather focus on butter.
Murder Sheet. Sorry, what?
Oh, did you watch Murder Sheets?
No, I did not actually.
I did, and I fell asleep, and I listened to it again, and I fell asleep, and I just gave up. Aspen on your dream lover. That's it. You got it. I shouldn't even be on this panel. I should be where Tom is, and Tom should be here underneath you. So what should be happening? Alexa.
Alexa, we need your expertise here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was upstairs.
I have a love letter from Tom I'd like you to analyze the handwriting of.
Tom's in his lazy boy recliner right now. That's what he's doing. Okay, so sorry. Okay, focus. Okay, focus.
Okay. What's that?
I see.
Nope, can't focus. Sorry, Tom. The storm is the next level right now. Yeah, you guys got some bad. Yeah, stay safe. Cool truth. If it becomes down to you and your home, okay, make sure that the home is okay. I just want, okay? Leave it to me in your will. No, just kidding.
Right. And everyone, Deb's got a basement. I'll give you your address. Just ask.
Yeah. Shelly, it seems like you guys are having more and more tornadoes, depending on your basement exits. Yeah. Yeah, we don't really suffer from those too much up here in Canada. Anyone want to come live up here? You can't live with me, but you can live up here.
Even tornadoes hit Canada, and they're like, "Oh no, sorry."
Oh, Shelly, do you want love? Shelly, it's for a fee. Oh, right, you did pay a fee earlier. I love you, Shelly.
Tom, Garrett Kirts' preliminary hearing is April 4th or 5th. My goodness, what's wrong with me?
Oh, a 4th or 5th. Let me pull that up, actually.
It's coming up, but I mean, it's next week. Well, I guess that'll be his plea hearing, right? I was just looking up all the documents yesterday for Brian Koberger, Richard Allen, Kegan Kline, Flint Farmer, Brian Walsh, and Garrett Kirts. So I have them all written down, but I think Garrett's is April 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I'm just at it now. Let's just see here. Pending. It is.
Is it the 10th?
Wait, what? No. Hold on. It's the 4th. It's the 4th. Initial hearing is on the 4th. And
is it a plea hearing or just does it just say initial hearing?
It says initial hearing.
Okay, and that's in Howard County, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was saying this to Tom.
No, wait. Is it White or Howard? I always do this.
White.
Yeah, that's right. Howard is Flint Farmer, right?
Yeah, it should be White for Garrett Kirts.
Yeah.
By county.
It is.
Yeah, okay. So, Tom, I don't really know how much you know about Nicole Bowen side of things or whatever, but the 5 people, like I said, that are up here are the ones that took Nicole Bowen's life. Garrett Kirts, Chris Mathis, Jasmine Parker, Talitha Beckley, and Ashley Ugly Fug Face Garth. God, I can't stand looking at her face. Anyways, yeah, you guys that are having tornadoes and that, make sure you guys stay safe. And I mean, obviously, if it comes between watching this channel and staying safe, I gotta weigh your options, to be honest with you.
Right. Sonny, would you like to tell Tom which of these 5 people are in jail?
Okay, so
4 of them are.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not sure about Jasmine Parker. I have to look her up. Garrett Kirts, 55 years. Ashley Garth, 48 years. Chris Mathis, the one up in the middle there, he got like 5 years, but he got half time. He only did a couple of like 2.5 years, whatever it was. And then, but anyways, then he ended up going back in jail because he missed his meth hearing or whatever. And so he had a warrant for his arrest. So now he's spending more time in there. Talitha Beckley over to the left-hand side there, she got like 5 years and she went in jail a couple of years ago. So I wouldn't doubt if she's probably going to be out in, a little bit of time herself. As for Jasmine Parker, she might be out. Let me just actually check up on her for us. Be right back. Let me just check.
Oh, well, Alexa's on mute. I was like, oh, I looked up and I was like, Alexa was like,
no, I have a visitor here tonight, so.
Uh-oh.
I'm hoping that, I know. Hoping that I can go to sleep soon.
Is it your Canadian husband or is it a child?
No, it's a child.
So, Mustang, Flint Farmer, his his trial date is April 18th, is the start of his trial. And I was actually just earlier today trying to get the documents for his witness list, which I was unable to get. But if anyone has them, I would like them. But I'll try again Monday. So.
Who is she checking if it's in jail?
I believe she was checking on the status of Jasmine Parker.
Oh, Jasmine Parker.
She's the one of those that I know the least about, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Ashley, I've heard, but I haven't heard about. I mean, I heard the name, but I never really known about the whole thing.
People should warn their children about Ashley Garth.
Just recently, she's still in jail because it says service notice returned undeliverable to Jasmine Parker, Indiana Women's Prison. So that's just as of the 23rd of February.
So she's out.
She's in still.
Oh, she's out.
Yeah. Oh, is she out? So she just because
I think she's out.
Well, I was gonna say
Ginger said she was out.
So that means that she just recently, literally recently got out. Then they are, yeah, I know.
Do you know how long did she serve?
Well, that's what I was kind of looking for. Sometimes you have to keep scrolling up on this stuff. Finding is guilty. Because usually it says like a time amount served.
The release date can be difficult sometimes, depending on the date they enter, whether it was the date they were order released or the date they were actually released. I've run across that before where I find conflicting dates. But Alexa, what do you get off of Bridge Guy's walk, his movements and such? While Sunny's looking for that, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. I was going to answer, but you saved me time. I always thought that because he had his hands in his pocket, that told me that he was very familiar. Because especially in a place where you need your balance and you use your arms, you need for balance. So that told me that it had to be someone who was extremely, extremely familiar with the bridge. So by being familiar, it had to be somebody local. So that was the first thing it told me. The way he walked, I mean, he was fast paced, but not really rushing, but not really slow. That's another thing. I think he was kind of like preparing himself to whatever he was, doing, because he wasn't walking very confident, like, okay, let's rush to it. I think he was psyching himself to, okay, I'm going to do this. I think this is the moment where it really felt real for him, that he was actually going to do whatever he was going to do.
Especially if he had fantasized about it,
Yeah. So I think it's like, finally, boom, this is the time I'm gonna do it.
What do you think the chances are that he would have been in like a euphoric state almost, even though, where it's like, where you see the eyes, because a lot of people have said, oh, these weren't his eyes because they almost changed shape than his natural stance. Which I mean, I think that happens sometimes, right? Where they physically.
And that happened. Yeah, no. And I was telling you this. I don't know if it was you or it was Sunny. I was telling the story that a lot of people say, they have black eyes. So I see like they have like a demon inside. And it's actually a physical thing that when you have so much rage, the iris of your eyes dilate. Yeah. Obviously, the black part of your
like when you're taking a drug.
Yeah, they dilate. Your pupils. I'm sorry, not the iris. The pupils dilate, and they become almost so enlarged that people think you have dark eyes. Sometimes they have the bluest of bluest eyes and they look dark because of that reason. So I think that was the moment that he really thought, okay, I'm going to do this. And that's why we see him walk. But definitely the hands in the pockets, it showed that he had been there. He didn't have to pay attention to the walking and that bridge is scary.
Yeah. Do you think it's less likely or more likely that he could have been under the influence of something if that was something that he had in his day-to-day life already?
I don't think so. I think maybe a shot, maybe, like a Valor thing kind of thing. Like, okay, let's take it. I'm going to do this. But drunk, I don't think so. He would have been very sloppy. I don't think so. I don't see him doing that. Maybe a shot, to be like, okay, I'm going to do this. Yes. But under the influence, drunk, no.
Thank you.
No way.
Adam, but just by the way, it never showed, like normally it will say how many days. I couldn't find anywhere where it said that. Bottom line is she went in 2019, and if she's out now, even though it seems weird, I guess, so she would have just had to recently get out because they literally just had a return from sender from the Indiana women's one. So that means that she would have had to have been released within this last month. Should that be true?
Thank you for looking that up.
But so obviously if she is out, we're looking at about 3 years, 4 years, 4 years.
4 yeah. Well, no, they were sentenced when 2019. Yeah.
She was in there, yeah. So
yeah.
2020. Yeah. So either way, they should have gotten a lot more time. They were all, I think, who knows what was said, because when they went to go arrest Chris Mapp there, he was hiding underneath the bed, underneath Jasmine Parker's trailer there. He was hiding you know.
Like Mel said there, yeah, hiding under the girlfriend's bed.
You know.
I mean, it's not funny, but I mean, they're just such clowns that.
Yeah. You know, and for me, it's just again, to me, it was always like if they solved Delphi, then that would add on to say the other case. I always felt like the three of them were intermixed, and I still do. I think that Garrett Kirts, regardless if he didn't have any participation in the actual Delphi, that he has knowledge of it. I believe absolutely that Garrett Kirts has knowledge of what happened with Delphi, or at least being told, because I believe that.
Don't you think he would have? Don't you think he would have used that to try to like leverage himself some way?
No, you don't become a snitch. You become a snitch. Yeah, no, Garrett. I mean, that's just the joke of it. Garrett Kirts had no problem saying Palladino's name, Jason Palladino's name, and yet, so I'm like, okay, so who has some more connections? Is it Garrett or is it Jason? Because I remember
he threw Ron Logan under the bus too about being a dirty, dirty bird, whatever. Chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was trying to show misdirection to everybody but himself on stuff, because that's how he works. But and like I said, like Kegan Kline. Don't forget, you guys, Kegan Kline failed the lie detector test. Garrett Kirts failed the lie detector test. Garrett Kirts was offered a deal, and then they pulled it off the table because he failed the darn test when he was asked 3 questions about Delphi.
Same question. He missed the same question that Kegan Kline did, according to him.
Yeah. We were keep diving. Do any of these folks have a relation to the witness list? If any, yeah. Well, if any of them do, it would be Allie Conklin would be one of them, and who else? And who knows what Tony Klein, who he knows, but Allie Conklin, which is the girlfriend that Kagan Dunker had when they picked up his phones and different stuff. That was from.
She's in the witness list, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was,
yes.
yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Could also be the juvenile witness that was listed just as a juvenile, or possibly even Dirk, through association somehow. But Charmaine, law enforcement said that the way they found Kegan Kline was through the ski mask incident. So if I'm going to go off of what law enforcement said, and I'm going to assume that it happened. The only hesitation I've ever had about any of it is that I have tried really, really hard, and I have never been able to materialize any piece of evidence to back it up. There's no police report. I can't find a scanner document. Nothing. Not one person, even in this girl's family, seems to understand what this is. So.
I mean, obviously something happened.
But law enforcement said it, so I'm gonna assume it happened.
Oh, Deb, so yeah, bad storm going there. Deb, keep safe. Go to your basement. Go say hi to Ray for us, by the way. Yeah. Alexa, have you ever interviewed any serial killers?
Oh, for me? Yes, I did.
Stay safe, Deb.
I interviewed one. It wasn't really an interview. It was, actually part of my dissertation.
Mm-hmm.
But I did.
Yeah. You guys haven't given us. Oh, sorry. Just don't forget, you guys give us a like and a share if you could. Those always help. Yeah, I know our lives, honestly, and honestly, normally before we'd always get 100 to 200 people in the lives, but most of the subscribers here, you guys are all from Delphi, right? And so again, and then the other part, a good couple thousand or 1,500 to 2,000 are from the UK for the Nicola Bully one and stuff, and other people are coming just because we cover cases, but the lives, yeah, because we try to bottom line is that we want to cover more cases. So if it means that we have to have less people in order to advance as a channel, because we want to cover more cases, because we just, like I said, Delphi is a case that's close and dear to our hearts. But I can't imagine talking about it all the time, because there's nothing new to bring to there's nothing new to bring to the surface. Nobody knows nothing about Richard Allen. That's basically the holdup right there. If there was more stuff to dig on Richard Allen, trust me, we'd be going full force still, and stuff like that. But there just isn't. And so the next step is just waiting, really, until the court dates happen, so that we can possibly know more things. I mean, like, I wouldn't. I just can't bring myself to chase my tail talking about the same things all the time. Like, for me, it's just like I said. I'm brain dead from this case, honestly, because I don't know where to look anymore. You know, might be 3 years before New Delphi, right? Well, I mean, we'll have the definitely court dates and stuff like that, obviously, and who knows? Like, like right now they have a gag order, right? They have a gag order going on. But there's some people that are definitely willing, when that gag order wasn't here, that were definitely willing to bring information. We had some really good information from a very credible source, until the gag order happened, when people really couldn't be talking about it. And so, so again, it's just kind of like, I mean, I know we can talk about it, but there's a lot of other cases out there that, and we're going to actually get into it, and we should be getting into it now, to be honest with you, which is that Stephen Smith case. And you guys mostly know about the Stephen Smith case with Murdaugh, and remember how they brought his case back to, like revived his case, because it's, now deemed as a homicide. And, there are so many court cases to discuss. They're interesting. You know what? Yeah, absolutely. The Delphi, will always be there for the heart of Delphi, for the information. And so, as some other channels keep talking about it every day, what's going to happen when Delphi comes and goes? Then they're going to be stuck going, well, what am I going to talk about now, really? But there's so many other cases out there that are going on that it's good to bring awareness as well. And it's only because, again, I just say that it's very stagnant right now with Delphi. There's nothing new. Yes, I mean, I like talking about it. Go ahead.
I mean, other than Kegan Kline, I mean, with a gag order in a case, I mean, it should be pretty stagnant, because, I mean, if there was tons of stuff coming out, I mean, that would probably, I think it's good for the prosecution that, we don't have a lot of stuff coming out right now. And it enables people to talk about these little things like the $5,000 with the prosecutor's office, which, and that all is very important. But whatever gets this case in front of a judge, and with the least amount of hiccups from this point forward, I just want the best for Libby and Abby and their families. Those families have gone through enough.
Ooh, let me share this quickly. Can you guys see that? Hold on. Let me just share this. This is, okay, so Miss Dog Lover. I know I got to kind of scroll it. Hold on, am I in my inbox here? Okay. So, little puppy had little puppies. See the little puppies?
So cute.
Here, I'll make it bigger so you guys can see. Can you guys see those little puppies? So Miss Dog Lover shared that picture with me to share with you guys, to show the little puppies. Oh, they're so cute, aren't they?
They're adorable.
I know. I thought I was showing it from my pictures once to zoom in, but I'm showing it from my one of my emails, or my crime and shame email. But they're so darn cute. So thank you, Miss Dog Lover, for sending that. Okay, so 1 second here. Right here. Okay, this is what I wanted to show. So, yeah, I know they're so cute. How many, Miss Dog Lover? How many little babies there? It looks like I saw about 5 or 6. 4 boys and 1 girl. So there was 5. Okay. Yeah. Well, 4 boys and 1 girl dominated right there. Anyways, I know they're so precious. They are just, when they're just like kittens. Well, they're just such little baby things, that you can just put in your little pocket. Hope there are enough nipples to go around. Great. Okay, so you guys, because we're already at the 2 hour and 50 minute mark, let's get into the Stephen Smith case. And I'm just going to play this video that will give you basically an update about what's going on with Stephen Smith, because there are now 2 people named for that. Yeah, for that Stephen Smith. And Adam had sent me a TikTok earlier, so I went to go search, see if there was a clip on it. So we're just going to watch this for a minute.
Neither of them are named Buster.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Neither's named Buster.
Randy.
During the investigations of
hey, my BFF.
2015. 2015, it was the death of a South Carolina teenager found near the property belonging to the Murdaugh family and is now considered a homicide. South Carolina investigators initially ruled the death of Stephen Smith an accident. This comes as his family plans to pull his body from the grave, and a strong denial of involvement from the surviving son of convicted killer Alex Murdaugh. Fox Nation host Nancy Grace joins us now. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning. Yes, it's quite the saga playing out again in South Carolina. It's very unusual. This case, as you said, happened back in 2015. So why has it bubbled up to the surface in a full boil now? Well, reportedly, during the investigations of the double murder of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh, some evidence came forth to SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, that this was in fact a murder. And they have outright said it is a murder, and that through some shifting of various law enforcement, it was never investigated as anything but a hit and run. But let me remind everybody, a hit and run is not mutually exclusive with a murder. A murder can be a hit and run. There was one visible wound to Stephen Smith's head, about a 7-inch laceration on one side of his head. But what troubled his mother, Sandy, is that there are no skid marks. There's no debris like glass or plastic from a car. Nothing to indicate that there was actually a car accident. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Interesting, it was staged, according to some sources, to look like he had run out of gas. But he had a cell phone with him, and he never tried to call anybody. Also, his body was in the middle of the road, as if it had been put there on purpose for somebody else to run over, for somebody to find. I drove the area. It's about 8 miles from Moselle, where Pat, Maggie, and Paul were murdered, and it's pitch dark. I guarantee you, if Stephen Smith had been walking in the middle of the street, which I doubt, he would have seen headlights coming.
Yeah, and his shoes were still on. Most experts say if it's a hit and run, the shoes usually fly off. His mom thinks that he was murdered somewhere else and then placed there in the road. So we'll see. Also, you have a very interesting special coming up. Oh, by the way, Buster says he did not do this. We do want to say that. So, he's not guilty of this. They're going to investigate. You have a special. This sounds fascinating. Children of Serial Killers, a Nancy Grace investigation. What did you learn? Because do they, what do they say about their parents?
It was amazing what these children have to say, because how can they, for the rest of their lives, trust anybody? I grew up loving my mom and dad. I would never believe they did anything wrong. But these children, now adults, are grappling with the fact that their parents are killers. In fact, some of them have already been executed. Some of them say they look at their own hands and they see their dad's hands. And these are the worst of the worst. The Craigslist killer, the chameleon killer, the classified ad killer. Some of them are responsible for up to 50 rapes and dozens of murders.
Do they have normal lives?
For the rest of their lives, they try to, but many of them are convinced that the murder gene is within them, and they think they have to fight it. I mean, it just hangs over their whole lives for the rest of their life and their families.
Oh, no, God's bigger than that. God is bigger than evil. Thank you so much.
I pray.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Nancy. You can stream Children of Serial Killers.
Well, first of all, Nancy, we would appreciate it if you would use the word unalive during our streams. And secondly, I think Adam, just so you know, that she is like 2 or 3. Oh, is that the game that we're playing? Okay,
fine. No.
Fine.
All right.
Hey, Tom, if you could just get Oprah on the line for me. Thank you. All right. Oh, no problem. I'll don't worry. She'll hold. Thank you. Go ahead.
Just
Right? Yeah. It's talking to you, Tom. You didn't know
Tom,
it
the funny
yet.
thing is when we do it and we're not even on a live and we're just sitting here on our
So yeah, Nancy, just keep the words down just a little bit. We want to stay green, not yellow. Thank you. Okay. Anyway,
it was for Nancy, not you.
is that was for Nancy? I thought it was for Tom. I was just like,
No.
okay, this is for Tom.
No.
Alexa, do you want one of those, Tim?
And Tom.
J Dubs, do you want one of those? Jay? Yeah. Lacey? Mel? Actually, Mel just, that goes without saying. Mel, she's mine. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Nope. I think we're all giving love. But yeah, so I'm really excited.
Your stuff with Nancy's Sunny, so she probably did like a few of the things.
I'm sorry. What?
I said I shared a few of your posts with Nancy.
Oh, did
so
you? Okay.
She probably liked. Yeah, she probably liked a few.
I thought there was like shit in my ear and I couldn't hear you properly, but okay, thanks. Yeah, breaker 19. Right. Be on the lookout for Adam. So for Stephen Smith, unless you're done talking about Nancy now, are you good?
I'm done.
Yeah. We've had Nancy though on our show multiple times, and I'm so sorry that I had to take down those lives. And unfortunately, they were all yellow and they weren't giving us any money whatsoever. But thank you, Nancy, for showing up on our lives when we've asked you to before. Thank you for being a good friend to us, and especially thank you for being Adam's BFF. You guys, I don't think you guys realize the relationship that me and Oprah have, though. That's pretty extensive. She's actually my aunt's cousin removed. And she has all my money because my husband didn't come with $6 million and Oprah has it all. And I would give you guys all some of it if I had it. So who are the two suspects? Oh, you didn't see that part, Tom? Did you not see that part? No? Okay. So let's go bring that part back up, I suppose. Or shoot, I closed it off. Darn it all.
Patrick Wilson and Sean Conley are their names.
Yeah. And play Nancy at 1.5.
Yeah. They were both were implicated very early on back in 2015. Yeah, and they were exactly. They were friends with Paul. Okay, Ivy, for you, we'll cut all ties.
If you continue to fraternize with Nancy Grace, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna Nancy. Nancy, I love her or hate her, one of the two. Motive.
She's got.
Oh.
We don't know. We just know that one of them said that they had hit someone that night. But as far as, there's been speculation, but neither of them have been charged. They've just been publicly named by celeb.
Yeah. Well, good, because it's a start.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Darn it! I wish I had that thing back open.
Yeah, Diamond Eyes. It was Patrick Wilson and Sean Conley. I don't think Brandon was not one of the two names that they publicly named.
Who wasn't?
Diamond Eyes had said one name is Brandon. What? But no, it was Sean, spelled it SHAWN. Conley is CONLEY, I believe, or Conley.
Yeah.
And then there was Patrick Wilson, which is spelled the way you would think.
Yeah, close out the darn article.
It's hard looking him up because of the actor Patrick Wilson from the
I know.
from oh my goodness, the movies about the Warrens. I can't think of what they're called now.
What?
The movie about the Ed and Lorraine Warren, the horror movies. Sorry.
No. I suck at names. I have to see something in order to know if I've seen it or not, for the most part. I don't know who you speak of.
You know who Patrick Wilson is, don't you? Like the actor?
No, not unless I look him up. Here back, Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson.
Conjuring.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, now I do because I looked him up, but I don't really know who he is, but I just know the face. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, when I was trying to look up the guy from South Carolina, it was difficult because the actor kept popping up.
Yeah, I mean, like Alexa, like I personally never thought, like you said, I never thought Buster Murdaugh had anything to do with it myself, personally. I think maybe he's like certain people wanted to, right, JLR? Yeah. But anyways, I don't know. I didn't feel like Buster Murdaugh had anything to do with it.
Okay.
But so I think Diamond Eyes said something like it's a hunting buddy. Was that what she was talking about?
They were friends with Paul. There's pictures still on
yeah.
the media of Paul.
Yeah.
There's ties between some of the family and Randy Murdoch, but not Buster. Randy's the one I always think is interesting anyway, because he's in the middle of everything. But
well, for Stephen Smith, I just hope that, like I said, he gets his justice that he deserves, like anyone. I'm glad, you know what? I'm really glad for the mom and people that helped out with the GoFundMe to help them. I'm like, that thing reached over 100,000 and stuff like that. You know, I wish it worked that way for everybody that needs help, to be honest with you, because it doesn't always work out that way. It worked out that way because of the Murdaugh case and Well Exposed, which, you know, prompted that GoFundMe to hit over 100K. But I wish everyone that was in those type of circumstances, you know, would get helped. I always like to be fair. If I was always known for being anything, it was always about being fair. But anyways, so I just really hope for, like I said, I think that charges will be brought, you know.
Right. I'll be interested to know why and what the results of the RAPE kit, why they felt those were necessary.
Yeah. Right. Is it weird that anyone else at the news lady was like, oh yeah, and Buster says he didn't do it? Yeah, I think that she was just trying to squeeze that in there for the fact that, you know, because Buster had said he didn't do it. So I think she was just trying to squeeze that in there just to kind of add that little, you know, tag at the end there. Oh, by the way, Buster didn't do it. Yeah, because I remember they were talking about like defamation and stuff like that, and saying like, I mean, it's one thing to sit there and speculate, and it's another thing just to all out say that Buster Murdaugh did it.
Right.
You know, type of thing. But anyways, I never thought he did.
No, so I don't. I never did.
I find the name Buster rather busted. You know what I think? Okay, you guys, let's just have a fun little moment here. When you guys hear Buster, what goes through your mind? What's your first thought when you hear the word Buster?
Dustbuster.
Alexa? She can't. Can hear you? No. Alexa, do you need to go night-night?
Oh.
She probably doesn't realize.
Oh, can you hear me? I'm sorry. I'm like talking. I'm like, no wonder nobody. No, I said Buster. Sorry. No, it's just I have my allergy. Sorry. Buster. I knew somebody was named Buster. So every time I hear the name, I have that picture in my head.
Okay.
That can be difficult.
I know we're gonna get going here in a minute, but you look like you're really tired.
I'm okay. It's just my allergies.
Is it your allergies? Okay. You know, my husband, he got a cold sore today. I'm like, no. I hate, because those things last a couple of weeks and he can't kiss me. I freaking hate it when he tells me he has a cold sore, which is, it happens about 4 times a year. But it means like I remember when he used to get one, we would put cellophane on his mouth just so I could kiss him. Because it sucks. Okay, Buster Bar. You know what, Charmaine? That's exactly what I was thinking. Was a DQ Buster Bar. That's my first thought. It's just one of those names, like for a nickname, Buster. It's.
Do you prefer Paw Paw?
I think I prefer Pawpaw than Buster. Like, hey, Buster. It just sounds like whatever. Buster Brown, haircuts or shoes.
Right. Did you see that Alex got moved to? He got moved to.
Oh.
There's only 24 inmates in the whole state that are in the type of unit he's in now, for protective custody.
Right. That's right. Did you want me to play that?
Well, no, I mean, you don't have to. I meant to bring it up and then I kind of forgot, and then but I didn't see. It was funny because I didn't see it posted in many places today or yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that it's a huge significant thing, but I found it interesting that there are only 24 inmates in the whole state that they feel like require protective custody while they're in prison, and he's one of them clearly.
Yeah, I didn't listen to what word you said.
No, you did.
I didn't. I was too busy going. In my head, I was too busy going. So, do people believe he said Paw Paw or Paw Paw?
It's Paul. Paul.
Because most people were saying Paw Paw.
Because that's what it sounded like.
But that's because of the southern draw. They drop the L and it turns into a W. Paul.
Okay, so let me ask you this: where the heck was JLR getting all those telephone calls from right away, like recent ones?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like like on JLR, right? Like he's playing.
No, he writes to the correctional, and they can release them.
I mean, the dude obviously knows how to do it because he spent enough time in there. But I was just like, and he's just like playing all these phone calls. And then somebody was playing a phone call between Alex and his lawyer. And I remember the docket said.
No, that was bad. I'm sorry. I mean, hidden truth. I mean, that was bad that they did that because they knew that was just for subscribers and clicks. Mm-hmm. I have a problem when people are, I like you, but when you cross the ethical, come on. Like, I have no respect for you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Tom says Papa. Okay.
I mean, I'm saying. I mean, it's the question's been answered. Though. I mean, he said it was Paul. It just sounds like Pawpaw.
Who said it? Who said
what?
it? Did Alex say it? Did Alex come out and say it?
No, his lawyer did. Jim did.
Oh, did he? Oh, well, question's been answered then. There we go. Because when somebody has like a southern drawl or whatever, an accent, it's like it sounds like Pawpaw. Like
of course it does.
Yeah. It's offensive, Pawpaw. Like, really? What's offensive? Pawpaw? I don't know. Where's Alex? Where is Alex getting his peels?
His pill, yeah.
His peels? Oh.
I also saw that someone that bought some. They didn't say what it was, but it was some personal memento from the auction. They offered to. They contacted Jim Griffin and offered to give it back to Buster so that he'd have something like a memory of his brother, which I thought that was nice of whoever bought that. Because imagine, like I felt like that's so cringy. Like, everyone's kind of joking about like all the family stuff that they sold. Imagine like being Buster and like your like entire like family home is being sold at auction, like and people are joking about it and making TikToks and. I felt really cringy about the whole thing all from the get-go.
What, Alexa?
No, I said even showing the socks, socks and everything. It was, oh my God.
How about that lady that got all the pictures?
Yeah.
Like they got all the pictures of the vacation. I mean, the right thing would be hand those back over to the rightful owner. Mm-hmm. That would be the right thing to do. After she makes copies, of course, but no, just kidding. Right. But the right thing to do would be give him back to the family.
Take him to CVS and make prints for him. Here you go. Put him in a scrapbook for you.
Yeah, but the right thing to do would be give him back to Buster, where they belong. It's his mom and dad and brother. But we'll see what the woman does with them or not. She's going to try to make money off them. Hopefully not. Yeah, right. That's where it just becomes like, okay, that's where I always hope that karma comes at people when they do stuff like that. So hopefully,
like the guy with Gwyneth Paltrow. I know I was in the minority with that. Kind of like the guy with Gwyneth Paltrow, because to me that was karma as well.
So yeah, because I didn't hear that part. So did you say? And oh yes, Murphy is a good name.
It is a great name.
Murphy would be a perfect name. Absolutely. Did you say something about that? He said that he lost his taste buds for wine.
He could no longer enjoy wine tasting after that.
Didn't he sound like a whiny leprechaun?
Yeah. I mean, that she ran into him and he was like, "Oh, is that Gwyneth Paltrow? Oh no, I'm so hurt." His pain level increased a lot after he realized that was Gwyneth Paltrow, and I loved when she tapped him on the back when she left court. I loved it.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah.
Did she? Oh.
That was like the biggest FU tap I've ever seen.
Yeah. My thing is this to me. If he's behind her and he skis into her, isn't that kind of like the car thing? If you're behind the person and you collided into her, wouldn't it be like your fault, dude?
Right.
If you collided like right into her?
Yeah, I get that people think she's out of touch and a brat or whatever, but I mean, I thought it was baseless that what he was going after, and so I thought the verdict was exactly what it should have been, and I'm glad that they went as far to say that not only was she at no fault, but that he was at fault.
Well, how do you think JLR got his money? Freaking suing people. So much in fact that he's made it to the Guinness Book of World Records. Like seriously, dude. I wonder how much he actually made out of that from people that said to some. Like, I wonder honestly how many from all the claims he did. I literally wonder how much he made off of that. I don't believe Google when it says he has 5 million. Yeah, I believe he was living in Mama's home because no right male would decorate their house.
I'd be upgrading Mom's curtains if I had $5 million, living in my parents' guest room.
Yeah, but yeah, like I mean, honestly, what'd you say?
I said, but I have a home.
I don't know. The little leprechaun was just like irritating me, to be honest with you. He just seemed like he was so full of it. Like
he wanted money. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, I know, but it was just the stupidness actually of what he was saying. Like he can't do this.
The whole personality thing. Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah. When you're watching someone and you're just like, you're a weasel. You're just a weasel, dude.
Most of the time, yeah.
When he just did that, patted him on the back and left, I was like role model. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Tom has his little sexy news clips that he does. I love that. What you're missing, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, you're just missing that fluffy white rug underneath of you.
I'm gonna get him a life alert every time I see him laying on the ground like that. I'm like, Tom, can you get up?
Yeah.
Do you fall out of your recliner?
That's the thing with Tom, right? He has this really serious side where he likes to keep everything. Well, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, I mean, he's more into the focus, Sonny, focus. Tom, trust me, I could change your life, dude, with my personality. I could give you that balance that you need.
That's what he's afraid of, son.
I know, right? You couldn't handle me, Tom. Nobody can really. My husband can, but barely. But anyways, but yeah, so Tom has this side where he's like, all this structure and how he puts out his work and all with freaking what do you want to call it, Google charts and whatever. And then that side where he's like, like laying down on his side, doing his news clips, cracking his jokes. That's the true Tom right there. The Tom that has that inside joking around energy. That's his favorite side. Yeah. He's what I call what?
He's what you would call what?
No, it's one of those things that it's kind of like, unless you know someone or get to know them more, it's what I would call like a dry sense of humor. Because, like I said, I mean, I remember when he called me like, what was it again? Uncloudy, just whatever. I was just like, that's not nice, Tom. That's not nice. But
and Deb and I were like, he's joking.
Yeah,
You're like, no.
Sure.
And you're like, no, he's not.
Yeah. But then once you got to know it, you understood that those were jokes, or the things that he was saying were jokes, and they're quite funny. But it's one of those things that when somebody says something serious and they're looking at you, and you're like, do I take that seriously, or is that a joke? So that's why with Tom, he's like that one that is it a joke or is it
right?
Not, it's a joke. Anyways,
Diamond Eyes, to answer your question, who's GK? I mean, you said since he pled guilty, is he still going to have a trial and have GK be a witness? I'm still confused. Garrett Kirts is going to have a trial for Ray Hanisch unless he pleads guilty, but Kegan Kline pled guilty, so he will not have a trial.
We're still a trial with. Oh, okay, and yeah, like it's
his father. Yeah.
Oh.
So he won't have it. So yeah, and Tony was not in court yesterday either.
Tony, what? No,
was not in court yesterday.
Yeah, and we'll get going here in a sec too, but I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, do you think he's gonna get 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. Like,
Kegan?
Yeah. So if he's basically already done like 2.5 years, that's almost like saying 5 years, really, or it depends, I guess. It will really depend, but I don't know.
I would say more. I would say 20 something. I would say they'll give him like 20, 25.
Right.
That was kind of always my original thought, but then I thought, well, that's kind of too high, probably. So that's why I said 10 to 15.
I said 8 to 10, and I think he'll serve 5 to 6, or maybe 3 to 5. CD and I were talking about that, but yeah, I think 10 is a fair estimate. But who knows? I mean, some people are saying time served, some people are saying 25 years. So who knows? Charmaine, I would say that other than victim impact statements, and I mean legally, I think we've gotten all the information regarding Kegan Kline's CP charges and trial that we're going, would have been trial that we're going to get. So all the information that's in those court papers is all that there has to be now. Instead of anything else would just be victim impact statements.
Yeah. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Tom, I think we're going to undercut you for time today, because I think he was at 2 hours and 59 minutes. Did you go over your 3 hour mark on there? Is he in jail now? Is who in jail now? Sorry, I'm lost now. Well, who's who in jail now?
Are you talking about Alec, or are you talking about Kegan? Because Kegan's his custodial situation is going to stay the same until his sentencing now, unless he requests for them to address something.
Don't worry, Tom. We're going to beat you. We're going to beat you. No, when I say beat you, we're going to go under that. Okay, and that's just a competitive thing. Don't think of it any.
Diamond Eyes, he went right back to the Miami County Jail, the same place he's been for 3 years.
Yeah, and then he's going to go to the big boys. Then we'll see how life fares for him, even though he'll have more things to do. Like that's what Blaine was always saying. I miss Blaine. Yeah. Blaine, get back here. Come back to Earth. I miss that dude. I really just like the fact that we met someone who's totally on the opposite end of the spectrum of our normal day. And I just loved his jolliness and his, I miss his smile. I miss his jovialness that he had about him. And he cared about us, and we cared about him. And I just really miss that, and then so whenever something comes up, especially to do with this, in my head I just keep going, where's Blaine? Blaine. Because he was always a wealth of knowledge as well. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Miss Tuglever, I don't think he has to worry about dropping the soap. I think everyone will steer clear.
Yeah.
If there's even room. But yeah. I was thinking
let's
about
see here.
Brooklyn, I was thinking about Brooklyn. Well, we were talking about her last night.
Pardon?
We had mentioned Brooklyn last night, so I was thinking about the kids last night.
Yeah.
And
Ashley, and I just miss the big lug, and I know that obviously the family does, but yeah, he just really stole my heart. I think about I think about who's leaving. Kathy, love you, girl. Take care. I think about, I just think about the way that he had emailed me to ask if he could have a chance to speak. And then I didn't realize that he was the one that kind of blasted out there about his uncle Flint Farmer, that was like blasting on people. And I didn't realize it was him. And like I said, and then Adam's like, "Ooh, remember?" Because you were like,
I was
that
like,
guy
I didn't want him to come on.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, yeah, whatever, because I didn't even know it was him. But anyways, turned out to be really just one of the nicest dudes. I just like the fact that, when you ask something from him, and that's when we noticed the difference about a month prior, is that Blaine was always keeping his word, and he was really happy and trying to grow a YouTube channel and his music and stuff like that. And it just really saddens my heart that unfortunately, substance took over and his life came to an end, and yeah.
And the same additive that people have put in in drugs. Another batch is going around the Indianapolis, north central Indiana area right now. I can't remember the street name for it either right now, but it's the same thing that was in Blaine's. Yeah, Trank. Yeah, Ashley had posted something about a bad batch of Trank going around the Indy area.
Oh, so Blaine Marietta is just so I just kind of was talking about him a little bit, but so Flint Farmer, Blaine's uncle, was arrested for the unaliving of Karina McClurkin, another case around the Delphi everything area. So Jerry had basically her grandma had been spending 5 years looking for this child, 6 years basically, looking for her granddaughter. Finally, an arrest came, and Flint Farmer was arrested. So Flint Farmer's son, Vincent Farmer, was talking to Deb throughout, because he had been posting, and Deb was talking to him throughout the posts on the video, and he wanted to have a say. So Vincent Farmer came on our live, and some people were a little bit upset because Jerry McClurkin and basically the farmers, right? Meaning these people knew each other, but yet Flint Farmer is the one that's being charged for her death. And so anyways, but we believed in giving someone a voice, because regardless, Flint Farmer is not Vincent Farmer, and Vincent Farmer isn't Flint Farmer, and same with Blaine. So Blaine is the nephew to Flint Farmer, so that is his uncle. So Vincent Farmer wanted a voice, so we gave him a voice, and it was the most beautiful thing when Blaine was on and Jerry was on this one night, and it was a great live. It's hard to explain unless you were part of it, besides watching it. But anyways, so Blaine became a regular on our show. We grew into friends, and his friend Andrew, and that has been on the show, and we had gone over to Blaine's channel, and we just grew a nice friendship in a short period of time. And Blaine was from the opposite sides of the tracks, and we just love that big lug. And he passed away October 16th of 2022. He OD'd, and they found him upstairs in his mom's house in the attic or whatever. And it was a very sad live because we were on a live when we were told that something had happened to Blaine. Yeah. So, anyways, so that's who Blaine is. He's a big lug. We call him Big Red. If you look back at some of the lives back in September, before September area, or September, October area,
July.
you'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, July is when he
Yeah.
first came out, and then it was pretty regularly until the end.
Okay. And so again, we'll just show this one more time. Not these people. We don't care about those people. Those people are pieces of crap. We're gonna show this before we head off for the night, you guys. Oh yes, we're still underneath Tom there, so that's perfect. Okay. So this is of course Nicole Bowen. Yesterday, Garrett Kirts, and those 5 people that you just seen. I'd taken Nicole Bowen's life 4 years ago. So prayers for Nicole Bowen. GP, if you ever see GP in chat, unless she changes her name, that's Ginger. Ginger is Nicole's aunt, and they were fighting for justice for Nicole and for Ray Hanish as well. The 2 families connected because of this all. Mel from Cold Truth, Mel's channel, has spent a lot of time, with helping the families and being there as well. So again, blessings to the family and prayers, and at least some of the people are in jail, in prison for Nicole's death. The compassion to hear other sides. Yeah. Thanks, Diamond Eyes. Yeah, care a lot about people. I wouldn't be here absolutely if I didn't. You just got to stay genuine and true to yourself. And same with Adam, same with Alexa. Just try to be transparent, honest, and caring. And you just try to do things morally correct. It doesn't mean we're going to meet everyone's moral standards, but I always speak from my heart.
My own.
Yeah, and that's the way I'll always remain. Just stay true to who you are.
Right.
But anyways, you guys, and so Tom, when Adam gives you one of those, so he's speaking from his heart, dude. Yeah. Anyways, it was great to have you guys on here. Thanks. I think Shelly. Thank you. I think Miss Dog Lover and Kathy. Thank you guys so much for your donations tonight. Again, thank you for helping out at the end of the month there, guys. Anyways, so you guys have a good day tomorrow. It's April Fool's Day. Don't even try to pull one. Tom, don't even try to pull an April Fool's nothing, okay? Aspen has never blown me kisses. Wait, whoa, wait, what? You're not trying to go over the 2 hour and 59-minute mark, are you, Tom, by these last minute kisses? Did you give him some? Did he catch it? Did he catch it? Did you give him some? I didn't see you give him any. He wants kisses. Did you give him any? He's going to sit there? You're not going to...
I was trying to pretend I was frozen.
Is that what you were trying to do? My bad. Strokes to people. Yeah.
I got 2 already. Wow.
Right. The funny thing is, it's not even Tom Webster. That's Gray Hughes. It's April Fool.
Sunny, I'm pregnant. April Fools. Yeah.
Right.
I got 5 chins. True story.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You guys have a great night. Yeah. Okay. Take care. Thanks, Alexa. Thanks, Adam. And then of course, thanks to John for having us on his live earlier as well.
Right.
If you guys haven't seen that one, go watch that one. And yeah, love you guys all. You guys take care. Good night, Tom. Good night, too much mom. Miss Dog.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys. Love you. Bye, Sharon Parker. Bye.